This is contained in a forensic investigation report which says Modise failed to properly disclose his financial interests in Triotic Protection Services. Triotic currently has a multi-million rand contract with the Tshwane municipality to provide security services for the city's properties, assets and personnel. The report, which has been deemed confidential, was tabled behind closed doors during yesterday's council meeting. Thabiso Koba has more.
In February 2023, prior to becoming an ANC Tshwane councillor, Eugene Modise resigned as director of Triotic Protection Services and sold his ownership stake in the company. However, a forensic investigation report found Modise still derives benefits from Triotic through rental income. The report says the property registered to Modise has been leased out to Triotic since 2010. In addition, the report found Modise still receives installment payments from the selling of his ownership stake in the company. It says none of this was declared by Modise as required. The report says the rental income and installment payments received from a company currently doing business with the city represent material breaches and ethical obligations set out for councillors. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
EFF leader Julius Malema has taken a swipe at the Constitutional Court over delays in delivering judgment in the party's challenge over President Cyril Ramaphosa's Phala scandal. During a march to the court in Braamfontein today, Malema accused the Apex Court of dragging its feet. Last year, the EFF approached the court after Parliament dismissed a report which found that Ramaphosa may have breached his oath of office. That report raised serious concerns about the president's conduct in his handling of the 2020 theft of foreign currency at his Phala farm in Limpopo. Malema says the court is failing to lead by example by not delivering its judgments on time.
How do you say those who fall under you, after 3 months they must release judgment when the matter is concluded, but you can take the whole year? If you say the lower ones can take 3 months, you must take 2 months to show them that you are leading by example and they must follow your example. Justice delayed is justice denied.
The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has heard how the instruction for the disbandment of the Political Killings Task Team created a rift among senior officers at the SAPS's headquarters in Pretoria. Acting Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Hilda Sintumule, detailed how her relationship with her boss, Shadrack Sibiya, was strained due to tensions. Sintumule says she was instructed by Sibiya to coordinate the handing over and audit of 121 dockets that were transferred from the PKTT to police headquarters. She concluded her testimony this afternoon. Oren Singh reports.
Former Divisional Commissioner for Detective and Forensic Services, Hilda Sintumule, says while she tried to maintain a cordial relationship with her former boss, Shadrack Sibiya, things began falling apart over internal squabbles over the disbandment of the PKTT. As part of the phasing out of the task team, Sibiya instructed Sintumule to carry out a detailed plan to audit the 121 dockets taken away from the PKTT and facilitate the handover of the dockets to their stations of origin. She says due to her busy schedule, she couldn't prioritize the task, which didn't bode well with Sibiya.
I will not say it was one of the best relationships because it's a touch and go. Today, you could be on these good books. Tomorrow, for no reason, you could be in his bad books.
Sintumule was not candid about her stance on the disbandment of the PKTT, strongly opposing the decision to dissolve the task team. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
We shift our focus to this now. 4 Cape Town police stations appear in the list of the top 5 stations with the highest number of contact crimes in the country. Contact crimes include offences such as murder, attempted murder, sexual offences and robbery. Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia released the national crime statistics in Pretoria today, focusing on the period between July and August of this year. Alfara Mushwana reports.
The Mfuleni, Nyanga and Delft police stations, all of which are in Cape Town, with the highest number of contact crimes in the country. The Inanda police station in Durban is 4th on the list, while 5th place goes to the Kraaifontein police station, which also happens to be in the city of Cape Town. The South African Police Services Crime Registrar Major General Thula Reskhukhune says the murder rate in the Western Cape between July and September this year remains deeply concerning.
In terms of the murder, we again have the Western Cape and the Northern Cape that have recorded increases. All the other 7 provinces have recorded decreases.
In Gauteng, the Tembisa, Johannesburg Central and Jeppe police stations also appear in the top 10. Meanwhile, the Temba and Mamelodi East police stations are the only ones in Tshwane that feature on the top 30 list. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
And Sri Lanka has deployed the military for relief and rescue operations. The country has been grappling with severe weather, and those conditions worsened yesterday with heavy downpours which flooded homes, fields and roads. 56 people have been killed and another 21 are still missing. Of the 56 people confirmed dead, 26 were buried alive in mudslides in the Badula district in the central region. The army has deployed more than 20,000 troops, while the Navy is using boats to evacuate villages and to help to clear the debris. Gold is trading at $4,188.64 an ounce. The rand is at 17.15 to the dollar, 22.63 to the pound, 19.84 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $63.65 a barrel.
Sunwood Park roadworks still causing heavy delays on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City in Edenville. Bumper-to-bumper traffic heading towards Bedford View. That's on the R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange. And we still have those roadworks causing heavy delays in the Calvin Alex area. That's delays heading towards Germiston on the N3 southbound between the Patlu interchange and London Road.
In your sport, Mamelodi Sundowns face Rulani Mukwena reunion in the CAF Champions League. The Springboks bid to end their season on a high against Wales. And Pat Cummings to miss the second Ashes test.
It's a cloudy Friday afternoon with widespread showers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Eyewitness News has reliably learnt that Tshwane Deputy Mayor Eugene Modise unethically benefited from a company doing business with the municipality.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
A very good afternoon, everyone. It's 9 minutes past 3 on Friday, the 28th of November. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Wherever you're listening to us in 702 land, welcome to the show. As you heard in the news, the MK party says one of its leaders, parliamentarian Vusi Shongwe, has been kidnapped. Mr. Shongwe is one of the Mkhonto MPs involved in Parliament's ad hoc investigation into police corruption. We'll look more closely at that story later in the show. Some other stuff we're covering. How can it be that King Palo Airport in East London is down to just 1 day's worth of aviation fuel? And could this be a problem that hits other airports? We'll chat at 10 to 4 to Abafani Chifularo, who's CEO of the Fuels Industry Association of South Africa. As the holiday season draws near, it's a problem that may need solving with a degree of urgency, I would have thought. I seem to remember a time when South Africa, despite entrenched poverty, had all but eliminated malnutrition. But that's no longer the case. And with Parliament debating the issue today, we'll get the views of Dr. Edzani Mpapuli from the organization Grow Great. Together with the DG Murray Trust, they've got some proposals on how we can deal with this. And in our weekly feature, Song, a Book and a Dish, we'll talk to Mandla Mashimbi, coach of the Women's Proteas team, who made it to the final of the Cricket World Cup. We'll get his favorite song, an inspiring book. We'll talk food and family and friends all around you, sharing that food at about 20 minutes to 6. We've got all that and a whole lot more on 702 Drive, including breaking news, news from the roads in our regular traffic updates, and the latest from the markets. On the markets, the oil price has risen sharply, up $2.25 a barrel, currently selling at $62.87 for a barrel of Brent crude. JSE's made small gains so far today, with the oil share up by 2 120 points, driven by a 1.94% increase in the resources sector. That's reflected in real rises for platinum in particular, a 5.7% jump for Northam. Implats is up by 4%. On the downside, HCI has lost 3.7%. Sasol is weaker by 2.2%, notwithstanding that oil price I referred to a moment ago. The rand's currently trading at 17 Rand 14 against the US dollar, 2 cents stronger than this time yesterday. A euro will cost you 19 Rand 82, that's a 6 cent improvement, and 22 Rand 63 cents will get you a pound. The rand 7 cents stronger against sterling. Stephen Critters joining us with all the details at 4:25. We'll have sport with Tola Kele Mganga, and Bali Dlamini joins us with the very latest news headlines. Karabo Chale is keeping an eye out on the roads. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live. And if it's happening in 702 land, you'll hear about it here first. With your help, of course, contact us on 072 702 1702 or 011 883 0702. It's 12 minutes past 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
As always, we've got lots to think about. We've got lots of things to ask questions about. And some of those questions, of course, and some of those topics come out of some fairly random thoughts, or they come out of ideas from the rest of the team. Karabo Chale sent me a question this morning, sent it to the group, in fact, our little WhatsApp group. And you want to know about movies and needing to reach for a tissue.
Yeah, we were watching a movie, me and my partner. She hasn't watched, she hadn't watched Titanic.
Okay.
So it was the first time for her. So I was like, we must watch Titanic, and then we watched it. And at the last scene, where everybody's all panicking and the ship is sinking, and they have that violin song playing in the background, and she started crying. I was like, oh, okay. She hardly cries. So I was like thinking, what is that movie that made you cry or first made you cry? So for me, it was when I was still very, very young. I remember watching Peter Pan. The movie was Hook with Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dustin
Yeah.
Hoffman was Hook, I think.
Yeah, who was it?
Dustin Hoffman.
Okay, and then there was this the leader of what was this, Neverland, Rufio, who was fighting Captain Hook, and then unfortunately Captain Hook stabbed him with the sword and he died.
Okay.
And it was like, what? And I started crying.
How old were you?
I think I was like 8, 9.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like thinking, oh, my hero, like he's the leader, he was the coolest guy in the gang, and I just thought, which movie had got you all teary
For
and
the
all
very
emotional?
first time, hey?
For the very first time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm having to rack my brains. I've come up with one. I'm not certain this was the very first one, but Kabazela, Jonathan Fairbairn, good afternoon to you. You go first.
Afternoon, John, and to
Or
our
second,
702
rather.
family. Just latching on to what Karabo said there with your missus in Titanic.
Yeah.
The first movie I cried in at the cinema was Titanic.
Okay.
My mom, my sister, and myself, we went to go watch that, and I was sitting in the chair, and there was this guy next to me, and I was like trying to hold in the tears when Jack sunk
Yes.
the door. But the very first movie, I think it was E.T. at the drive-in. We went to go watch E.T. And then, of course, I mean, every kid around about my generation, The Lion King.
Yes.
When
Anybody,
Mufasa dies.
somebody,
Yeah.
please
Ooh.
help.
You're gonna get me going again.
Yeah. We need branded tissues.
I remember that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've cried in different kinds of movies. Sometimes when it's incredibly sad,
Yeah.
but also when it's incredibly happy. I mean, I've had
Okay.
many. So there's the kind of the ugly crying.
Yes.
How could he get stabbed by the hook with a sword or whatever? Then there's like the soaring music in a movie like Rocky or whatever. I mean, not that that's necessarily the best example. My first memory of a movie that made me incredibly sad, and I probably cry, and I wonder how many of our listeners would remember this it was like the mid-60s. It's a movie called The Incredible Journey, and it's about a family goes away and they leave their 3 dogs, a Siamese cat, a bull terrier, and a Labrador, with some other friends or family. I don't quite remember the plot. Anyway, these pets decide they're going to gap it and go and look for their owners. And they cross the northern region of Canada, the northern part of Ontario, and they have all these misfortunes. The one bit I remember is one of them, I think it's a couple of porcupine quills in its face. I don't know if there's been a remake.
There has been a remake.
But I remember a little bit of going on. I would have been about 6 or 7. But that, it's happened to me when I've been 60, never mind 6. So, but anyway, that's my earliest memory of a movie moving me to tears in that way. What's yours? Give us a call on 011 883 0702 072 702 1702. And if you want to call and chat, bring tissues on 011 883 0702. It's 17 minutes past 3. Hope there's nothing in the traffic yet that will reduce us to tears. Boy, did I have a drive home yesterday, which I'll tell you all about sometime later. But
I can imagine. Yesterday was pretty hectic. I saw it later on in the evening where the M1, I think, was closed off to traffic. And then Melrose, Rosebank was all a mess. So
a hot mess.
Sorry about that. At this stage, in the traffic, not looking too bad. Typical peak hour traffic. If you're heading towards Brakpan, leaving Sunwood Park, we still have those roadworks on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City. Edenville, also bumper-to-bumper traffic on the R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange. Tembisa traveling towards Pretoria, expect heavy delays on the R21 northbound approaching Olifantsfontein Road. We still have those roadworks as well in the Calvin Alex area, causing delays heading towards Germiston. N3 southbound between the Butlu interchange and London Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
A decade ago, the Science Forum was sort of like a bold idea, and today it's this continental beacon. What was the original vision, and has it really been realized now?
Yeah, actually, its original vision has been realized and exceeded, but the reality is that it's become really global. So you can see, even if you walk around the exhibitions, you got exhibitions from China, you got exhibitions from Europe.
Dr. Mponeni Moepe, DDG for Socio-Economic Partnerships at the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Finance and Economic Development MEC Lebogang Maile will present Gauteng's 2025 medium-term budget policy statement to the legislature on Tuesday, 2nd December 2025 at 10 a.m. MEC Maile will use the mini-budget to outline the province's economic priorities, fiscal direction, and plans to drive inclusive growth and sustainable development over the medium term. Join the conversation about public finances on Facebook and X using hashtag GautengMTBPS 2025. This message is brought to you by the Gauteng Provincial Government.
10 years ago, Aluma Capital set out with one goal: to help people like you build a legacy for tomorrow. Through personalized strategies and unwavering dedication, we've been instrumental in helping our clients achieve their financial dreams, whether it's securing retirement, growing wealth, or planning for the unexpected. For a decade, we've been trusted to guide your financial journey with expertise and care. Visit aluma.co.za today. Aluma Capital is a licensed FSP. T's and C's apply.
Join the Times Square Lights Extravaganza this December. Experience our gardens outside the Sunbet Arena come alive with bright, sparkling, festive lights. Take a stroll and discover mesmerizing photo opportunities at every turn. After that, grab a bite and drink in the Times Square festive atmosphere. Bring your friends and family and enjoy the Times Square Lights Extravaganza this December. Experience our gardens come alive with bright, sparkling festive lights.
Do you suffer from heartburn and hyperacidity? To relieve heartburn for the whole day and night with one tablet, a potent once-a-day treatment which was previously prescription only is now available over the counter. Ask your pharmacist for an over-the-counter, long-lasting heartburn treatment. Brought to you by Sandoz.
702.
Call John
on 011
883
0702.
702 Drive, it's 21 minutes past 3 o'clock. We were asking you about movies that made you cry for the very, very first time. Vane is calling from Fourways. Vane, good afternoon. Hope you're not still feeling miserable. What was the movie?
John, the movie was Gladiator.
Okay.
I remember when the guy died, when they played the song, is it We Are Free? The name escapes me, but yeah, that definitely got me.
And how old were you?
It was when did Gladiator come out?
2000. Russell Crowe, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously I watched the reruns. So maybe 2005 or so, around 15 years.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But I still play the song. Now and then I still go on YouTube.
Yes.
To play that song. It was quite touching.
So it didn't make you feel entirely horrible in a way. I mean, sometimes those surges of emotion, even though it's expressed as crying, can be quite powerful as well, hey?
No, definitely. I think it really made the movie as well. I think
yes.
It gives you a point. It's one of those situations where a soundtrack is part of the movie. It actually makes the movie.
Yeah.
And that's what got me.
Vane, thank you. Calling from Fourways. The first time you remember a movie bringing you to tears. 23 minutes past 3.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, let's focus now on a story that's been bubbling under for a while, but has really burst to the surface. The issue at hand, the Deputy Mayor of Tshwane, Eugene Modise, who is also a councillor with the African National Congress, the ANC. Questions have been asked for quite a while now about his relationship to the Metro's security arrangements and the companies that he owns. And there is a report that is now giving us some information on that. Tabiso Goba, EWN reporter, is looking at that closely and he's with us now. Tabiso, what does the report say? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John. So this is a forensic report that was commissioned by the Tshwane municipality.
Right.
It came after a complaint laid by the DA in Tshwane, where the DA said there was a conflict of interest between Eugene Modise and a security company called Triotic Protection Services. So what this report has found, John, is that in February 2023, Eugene Modise did own Triotic Protection Services. However, in February 2023, 2 weeks before becoming a councillor for the ANC in Tshwane, he resigned from Triotic Protection Services and he sold his ownership stake in the company. So now what happened is that the report has found that while Modise did resign and sell his ownership stake, he's still receiving benefits from Triotic Protection Services, albeit not entirely directly, and I'll explain. So Modise has about 7 properties that he owns, and he usually leases out these properties to companies or to people who live there. One of the properties that he leases out, he's leasing them out to Triotic Protection Services.
Right.
And Triotic Protection Services pays a monthly rental income to Eugene Modise. And then, obviously, Triotic Protection Services also has a multi-million rand contract with the Tshwane municipality. It currently has a multi-million rand contract with the Tshwane municipality where it provides security services for the city's assets, infrastructure, and sometimes high-level personnel. So the report has found that while Modise is not directly benefiting from the company through his properties that he does have and through Triotic Protection Services leasing the properties from him, he is deriving an income from a company that does business with the state.
So I suppose 2 questions, and I don't know how much detail you've been able to look at the reports, how much of the detail you've been able to look at so far. But the one would be, is the rental market rate? Because, I mean, you would know what rentals cost in the area. So if there's any kind of significant inflation on that, that would be something. And do we know who he sold the company to and what their profile is?
So 2 things, John. We don't know the rental income.
Right.
And number 2, we don't know if he actually did indeed sell his ownership stake in the company. And that is because that the investigators in the report, they did say that we did ask Modise to provide the sale of proof or the sale arrangement that he had with the business partner that he sold the company to. And after a bit of time, Modise never provided those reports or the sale agreement to the investigators. So we currently don't know how much that rental income is, but we also even don't know whether he did sell because he never provided the sale agreement. However, what the report has established is that in one of his properties that Modise does own, he does receive a rental income from Triotic Protection Services, which again, Triotic Protection Services currently has a multi-million rand contract with the city to provide security services.
Yeah, I think if your key line of defense is that I sold the company, it's generally always a good idea to be able to provide proof of that sale. But we will see. Already one investigation. Sounds like the investigation is prompting other questions. Tabiso Goba keeping an eye on that. Let's stay with inquiries into malfeasance or alleged malfeasance of various kinds. The Madlanga Commission underway today. And Oren Singh is always keeping an eye on it. Oren, today's focus was on what?
Specifically, the 121 dockets, John, that were taken away from the Political Killings Task Team and handed over to head office in Pretoria. Essentially, the witness that we saw testifying today is now the acting Deputy National Police Commissioner. She took over from Shadrack Sabia.
Right.
But she was the former Divisional Commissioner for Crime Detection and Forensics. So she's in charge of all the forensic labs in the country. And this is Hilda Sintumule. And she came out, I think, quite strong, John, showing that she was not in favor of the disbandment of the PKTT, saying that Minister Mkunu was ill-advised and that it should never have happened. And obviously she was talking a lot in favor of Dumisani Khumalo and Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, and saying that Shadrack Sabia, who was her boss essentially at that stage, was not happy with the fact that she was sort of aligning herself to that sort of faction. So we saw her testimony today, and we went through a couple of WhatsApp messages between her and Shadrack Sabia to just show how that relationship was kind of, I would say, damaged during the course of the squabble, internal squabble that was happening.
Oren, let's put a pause on what we've heard so far in both commissions and ask you this question. Has any senior police officer stepped up, I think, if I'm not mistaken, apart from Lieutenant General Shadrack Sabia, and said the disbanding of the Political Killings Task Team was A, something I supported, but B, something that we were properly informed about?
I think so far, John, the only people that were or are in favor of it is Shadrack Sabia and Senzo Mkunu. They are going on the basis that it was sort of doing the same job as the murder and robbery unit.
Right.
And they don't consider that in this day and age, political killing should take favor only over any other murder.
Yes.
In that instance. But the other faction, Dumisani Khumalo, Fani Masimola, and Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, believe otherwise. They believe that the PKTT is a good sort of stepping stone or milestone that they should reach for when it comes to how they do policing.
Just to respond to the way you framed that and ask you this, Oren, based on how closely not only you've watched this, but how much involved you've been in reporting on the police and their work long before July 1st week when Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi said what he said. But is it possible that there are factional battles, but then there are a number of senior police officers who may not belong to either faction, but look at a decision made, a set of facts made to support or dispute the decision, and on the basis of that make up their own mind and just say, listen, I think this just seems to me like a bad idea based on what I've done as an officer and what I believe to be true?
I think we saw a little bit of that from Lieutenant General Sintumule today.
Yes.
As much as she was not in favor of the disbandment of the PKTT, she kind of alluded that she was caught in the middle of this factional battle.
While trying to do her job. Yes.
And I think a lot of police officers, especially senior ranking police officers, have found themselves caught in the middle of this battle. And essentially, John, it's brought SAPS to its knees. We haven't got a functioning police service, and I think questions are what's going to happen after this commission. Is it going to make it better? Is it going to make it worse?
Some people say, well, it's going to have to get worse before it gets better, but worse could be very, very bad indeed. By the way, and I do say this whenever we discuss, and thank you, Oren Singh, to all of our listeners, I always say this, as we discuss these kinds of things. If you are in the South African Police Services and maybe at a level below kind of head office decisions on strategy and funding and so on, but nevertheless with crucial decisions to make of your own, how directly are you affected? And is there any factional level at either unit level, factional division rather, at unit level or at station level? I mean, that I would have thought would be unbearable as you try to go about doing an incredibly difficult job. So anyone who's in the service and is willing to call us, we're very happy not to use your name, but we certainly would love to know what you think. It's 28 minutes now to 4. Okay, let's get the very latest eyewitness news with Mbali Dlamini. Good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says greater attention needs to be directed towards combating organised criminal syndicates following the widespread looting of government tenders. Releasing the latest crime statistics in Pretoria this morning, Kachalia emphasised that national crime data does not adequately focus on organised offences. He says one of his key priorities is to identify these syndicates and take decisive action against them. The acting minister says he believes that Tembisa Hospital tender corruption could just be a drop in the ocean.
So tackling organised crime and its associated corruption must be a national priority. We need focused specialist capabilities based on closer collaboration between the police, prosecutors, financial regulators, the South African Revenue Service and the private sector. We must follow the money and hit the criminals where it hurts, in their pockets.
The IFP Youth Brigade in KwaZulu-Natal has labelled the motion of no confidence in Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli as political grandstanding. The motion, tabled by the MK party, will be heard on December 15th, Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
Shortly after House Speaker Nontembeko Boyce made the announcement in the legislature, dramatic scenes of MK party supporters emerged outside. Party members chanted songs demanding Ntuli to evacuate his post. The IFP Youth Brigade has accused the MK party of wanting to disrupt service delivery in the province. It says the demonstration, while there is a pending motion, was reckless. The motion will be held in a hybrid sitting in 2 weeks, and voting will be done through a secret ballot. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
The National Regulator for Compulsory Specifications is urging the public to buy goods only from compliant, authentic online platforms this Black Friday. The regulator says consumers must be their own first line of defense this weekend. The regulator's Kulegani Ngobo warns that items most commonly linked to scams include refurbished geysers, electronics and audio-visual equipment.
Price is important, but safety must always come first, especially during Black Friday, when the pressure to grab a deal make people take shortcuts. So, consumers' behavior plays a massive role in reducing or increasing the risk.
At the same time, FlySafair has also sounded the alarm on Black Friday scams. The airline's Kirby Gordon says irresistible deals and high transaction volumes make consumers vulnerable to fraud.
There are some amazing Black Friday deals out there, but the key is really to let calm heads prevail. You need to check the company's official website address.
And Japan's human washing machine is now on sale. A hotel in Osaka bought the first machine and is preparing to offer the service to hotel guests. The device, which can shower and dry a human in about 15 minutes simply by laying down, gained attention at an expo which wrapped up in Osaka in October. Local media is reporting that the machine is going for around $385,000, which is just a little over 600 million rand. It's a cloudy Friday afternoon in Gauteng with widespread showers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 21 degrees.
Well, at this stage, if you are in the Equestria area in Pretoria, there's heavy delays on Solomon Mahlangu between the N4 and Linwood Road. Also in Calvin, Alex area roadwork still causing heavy delays on the N3 southbound between the Between Interchange and London Road. Tembisa heading towards Pretoria. Bumper-to-bumper traffic, R21 northbound approaching Olifantsfontein Road.
A top story in EWN, Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says greater attention needs to be directed towards combating organised criminal syndicates following the widespread looting of government tenders.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The Road Accident Fund. We've spoken to Songezo Zibi on this, and one of the things he made very clear was that if Collins Letswalo refused to appear before the committee, he'd be arrested. For 2 days, they waited for him and he didn't show up, and doesn't seem that he wants to. What happens now?
So Scope is adamant that he be criminally investigated. And the process starts with getting the National Assembly to agree, and then they go into the police.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Well, of course, as we approach the festive season, we are all hoping for somebody to come along and give us some kind of gift, something unexpected, a wonderful surprise. Well, this festive season, Betway Scratch is back, and it's bigger, bolder, and giving you way more chances to win every single day. Every day, Betway is giving away a guaranteed 1.5 million rand in prizes. This is what you need to do. It's pretty straightforward. Place a bet of just 10 rand or more, and you will instantly receive your daily scratch card. So, what are the kind of things that you can win? Well, they're free flights, free spins, cash bonuses, and even the chance to drive away in one of 4 brand new cars. With Betway Scratch, every day is a chance to win. Get way more with Betway.
As an FSCA regulated broker, Prime XBT gives you the confidence to trade market volatility your way. Enjoy low trading fees, advanced tools across crypto futures and CFDs, and VIP discounts of up to 70% available to new traders. Take advantage of free deposits and withdrawals with crypto options and local South African payment methods. Prime XBT, empowering traders to succeed. Trade responsibly. Trading comes with risk.
The Maibuye Africa concert, the rebirth of Ubuntu, returns for one unforgettable night only. Simpiwe Dana, Judith Sepuma, Malay, Langa Mavuso, Elvis Blue, and Sipho Hotsticks Mabuse, backed by a 20-piece orchestra conducted by Grammy Award winner Joe Arthur, curated and produced by the visionary Billy Monama, Opera House State Theatre, Pretoria. Saturday, 6 December 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Tickets from 350 to 1,000 Rand at Web Tickets. Proudly supported by the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, Brand South Africa, Castle Milk Stout, and 702.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi everyone. The first time I ever cried in a movie was quite a strange phenomenon for me because I had never really cried in a movie before, and it wasn't very easy for me to cry. It's still not very easy for me to cry. But when I watched The Pursuit of Happiness and you get to the end where Will Smith gets the job, and it's that scene where he's walking in a crowd of people and he's emotional and he's clapping, and oh my God, I was bawling. This is Mo from Ramburg.
Hi, John. You're going really old school with that incredible journey. I mean, I remember that. It was absolutely amazing, and you're right, it did make me cry. But I also remember another one a little later than that was The Champ, with John Voight as a down-and-out boxer, father of this child. And wow, I held in that one. And I remember I took a girl to the movies to go and see it. And yeah, well, I was, first date, blubbering away, and she didn't bat an eye. Needless to say, I never went on another date with her. This is Dave in Florida Hills.
Yo, good afternoon. The movie that got me crying, and till today, I just can't watch that movie without crying. Like, I have to cry. Not even I have to, it's just, there's the things that it does to me. The Fault in Our Stars, yo, that movie, yo. I become a baby, a literal baby. Like, yeah, no, it's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, you know, Dave, you should have asked for that second date, man. I mean, maybe after she thought, you know, I loved him, he's in touch with his feelings, what a guy, you know. Dave, I don't know. If you still have the number, you at least get feedback. But seriously, though, I mean, it's a wonderful and interesting topic. And Ngo's example of The Pursuit of Happiness and Will Smith, that surge of emotion in happy moments. I mean, you see it also at the end of sports events, you know, fans crying. You think, oh, what happened? No, the team won, you know. Explain that to someone who's just landed from Mars. Duma Zile's recollection is, the first time my mom took me to the cinema, we watched Sarafina. Liam is taking us back to an example we had before when Mufasa died. And there's some good ones from Chris, who says, all dogs go to heaven. When Charlie B. Barkin says goodbye. Never saw that movie. The Champ, by the way, little kid, was played by Ricky Schroeder, I think. Wonder what happened then. What happened to him? Did he go on to have a career? If anyone knows, drop me a note on that. Movie scenes that made you weep for the first time. Was it happy crying or was it ugly? Oh my goodness, this is terrible. I can't deal with this kind of crying. 19 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
CAF Champions League football tonight. Sundowns in action. Tolakele Mganga has all the details and the news. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, John, and they'll be looking to keep their unbeaten start to their Champions League campaign going this evening when they take on MC Alger. The clash sees the Brazilians up against former coach Rulani Mokwena, who left the club last year.
We prepare like normal. We first had to recover some players from the difficult trip in Rwanda, then make analysis of our performance, and then we start our preparations like normal, any other opposition, any other game. So nothing special. It's a Champions League game, of course, and a difficult Champions League game. We know this. All games in the Champions League are difficult.
Arno Slot says Liverpool must fight together after they suffered their 9th loss in 12 games. They're currently on their worst run in 71 years and return to action against West Ham on Sunday in the Premier League.
I don't see it being low when we start the game. I didn't even saw it low after we conceded the 1-0 yesterday. But after the third, the fourth or the fifth knock, then after the 3-1, I also saw a very difficult 5 to 10 minutes. But before that, even when we conceded the 2-1, again had a disappointment. We were able to generate enough chances, enough XG to make the 2-2. But after they scored the 3-1, I could indeed see that it hurt the players.
The Springboks conclude their season against Wales on Saturday, looking for a clean sweep in the autumn series. The Dragons have struggled since the 2023 World Cup, winning just 2 tests and have dropped down to 11th in the world rankings. For Rassie Erasmus's double world champions, they're targeting a 12th victory in their 14 tests this year.
The team understand that, it might be a long season, the end of the year, but we know the Welsh psyche. They've smashed us many times when we didn't expect it. The respect for the other players in the team who get their opportunity, obviously trying to end on a high, so I don't think we'll underestimate them. And for some of the players, it's not the end of their season. They're only starting URC and Premiership rugby and so on, so focus won't be a problem.
R360, the proposed global rugby series that's targeting the game's top stars, has pushed back its launch date to 2 years to 2028. Board member and former England centre Mike Tyndall is leading the project and says launching it under compressed timelines would not meet the standards that they've set. 8 leading test nations have banned any R360 recruits from combining the new event with their international careers. And in cricket, Pat Cummins has been left out of Australia's unchanged squad for the second Ashes test against England. Under pressure, opener Usman Khawaja has kept his place, while Josh Hazelwood is also absent as he continues his recovery from a hamstring problem. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
16 to 4, it being Friday, rush hour comes a little bit earlier than usual. Eyewitness News Traffic with Plumlink, your local plumbing store. Visit plumlink.co.za to find your nearest store. So, Karabo, not for the first time, troubles in Tembisa. This is, just remind me, it's a roadworks thing, yeah?
Yeah, no, it is roadworks. This is roadworks causing delays heading towards Pretoria. That's in the Tembisa area on the R21 northbound approaching Olifantsfontein Road. Also in Ekurhuleni, bumper-to-bumper traffic in Edenvale on the R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Kiluli's interchange. Sunwood Park, we also have those roadworks still causing delays on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City and Calvin Alex area. Also roadworks. This is causing heavy delays. N3 south between the Butlu interchange and London Road, while in the city of Tshwane, Centurion, traffic heavily backed up. N1 northbound between John Foster and the R21 Flying Saucer interchange. Also bumper-to-bumper traffic in Equestria on Solomon Mahlangu between the N4 and Linwood Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. If it's plumbing, you'll find it at Plumlink, South Africa's largest plumbing retailer. From pipes, fittings, geysers, and baths to basins, taps, tools, and
accessories, we've got it all. With more than 10,000 quality products at the right price and over 150 stores nationwide, there's always a PlumLink near you, ready to help with expert advice and unbeatable value. Find your nearest branch today at plumlink.coza.
PlumLink, your local plumbing store.
This festive season, Betway Scratch is back, and it's bigger, bolder, and giving you way more chances to win every single day. Every single day, Betway is giving away a guaranteed 1.5 million rand in prizes. What do you need to do? Well, pretty simple, really. Place a bet of just 10 rand or more, and you'll instantly receive your daily scratch card. What can you win? Free flights, free spins, cash, bonuses, and even the chance to drive away in one of 4 brand new cars. With Betway Scratch, every day is a chance to win. Get way more with Betway.
Terms and conditions apply. Betway is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18s. NRGP counseling line 0800 006 008. All events are fixed odds betting games.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
The movie scene, or perhaps it could have been in a series. I know a couple of people have contributed those as well. Let's stick to movies if possible, because the thing about a movie is it could have been in a movie house. The first time a movie made you cry. Tola Kelewe.
I'll say 2. One of them is a movie that you probably still haven't watched, John, Titanic.
Yes.
You still haven't watched it. It's been
Still
4 years.
haven't watched it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was a shock to the system when we discovered that John is the one person that has never watched Titanic.
Sure.
Yeah, when Rose pretty much tells Jack he can go die, that
Yes.
one is still very traumatic. But in the movie Me Before You, it's a movie about a girl who takes care of a paralyzed man, and throughout the movie they fall in love, but in the end he dies. But having given her, because she always had these dreams of things that she wanted to do, and then when he had died, in his will, he kind of gave her enough money that gave her the opportunity to live out her dreams. So for her to kind of have her dreams come true, but at the loss of someone that she really loved. It was sad at the end, but it's also kind of like happy tears as well, because she gets to live out her dreams.
Yeah, okay. I haven't seen that one. I'm just looking at who the cast is, and it's adapted from a Jojo Moyes book, apparently. So, 2 different kinds of movies. And again, that mix tears sometimes because you're feeling just moved and stirred, and it's absolutely wonderful. Often preceded by absolute horror, the way it was in The Pursuit of Happiness, or just things that are unbearably and terribly sad. Me Before You. Oh, I'm looking at the novel. That's why I'm not getting the actual cast of the movie. Anyone know who was in that movie? Drop me a note, please. 702 Drive. It's coming up now for 11 minutes to 4.
Drive home with John Perlman
On 702. Let's walk the talk.
Still to come on the show, as the cost of living has risen, as poverty has really deepened in South Africa, and I think it's fair to say that that's been the case over the last 10, 15 years. The COVID-19 pandemic was clearly a factor in that, but, you know, we don't need to go into all the details. But one factor is malnutrition and its effects, including a terrible, terrible thing called stunting. Is becoming much more prevalent, and we're seeing those statistics coming out of clinics and hospitals, and it's being noted more. A couple of organizations are putting their minds together as to what we can actually do about it, and saying this doesn't simply have to wait on higher levels and greater degrees of economic growth. There's stuff we can do right now in the area of policy and action. We'll talk to my guest on that. Will be Dr. Edzani Mpapuli, who's Executive Director of an organization called Grow Great. That's coming up at about 10 past 4. It's 10 to 4 now.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's focus our attention now on this. I was very, very surprised to see a story that spoke about how there is one day's fuel left at East London's King Paulo Airport. It's a piece that appears in News 24. Aurelia Mouton is the author of that. You can check it out if you are a News 24 subscriber. But I'll just read this to you. King Paulo Airport in East London is facing a critical jet fuel shortage with only one day's supply remaining. prompting urgent calls from the aviation industry for immediate intervention. Aurelia then refers to jet fuel storage facilities in Durban and East London that supply the airport have been under pressure due to ongoing South African Revenue Service licensing reviews. So what's going on? How did we find ourselves here? Avafani Chifularo is the Chief Executive at the Fuels Industry Association of Southern Africa and joins us now on 702 Drive. Mr. Chifularo, welcome and thanks so much for giving us your time. I would assume the specific problem at King Palo in East London could be symptomatic of a larger problem. What is that larger problem? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John, and listeners. So, yes, indeed, you are correct, John. It is an industry-wide issue because if you recall, not so long ago, we had an issue in Cape Town also related to South African Revenue Service. The issue it relates on how aviation kerosene movement is regulated in terms of Customs and Excise Act. So we were very clear right from the action that was taken by SARS in Cape Town that if indeed that's how SARS is regulating the aviation kerosene, indeed it's going to have ramifications. It's going to have implication on other like ports that are supplying aviation kerosene. So the issue is about how you are supposed to be licensed in terms of aviation kerosene and how you transport it by road and how you transport it by pipelines. So because the airport, East London, is also supplied from Durban and also from the port in East London, it is bound to be affected by the review of licensing requirements by SARS. So other areas that are affected.
So, I mean, my understanding of regulatory procedures is they should be regular. I mean, the two words are closely related. I mean, are these permissions or processes of scrutiny that are scheduled and predictable?
They are definitely not predictable.
Okay.
I mean, they are not clear because, John, I mean, if you think about the airport, I mean, they've been around for years, and we've been, as an industry, supplying aviation kerosene or jet fuel for many, many, many years. And we've not changed anything really in terms of that. And but the rules seems to be, like the way they are interpreted, it seems to be changing. And there is nothing that was not known to the tax authority in terms of how aviation kerosene is moving in the country. So, but when they take a stand to say like, yeah, you're not supposed to do this, you're not the right person to be licensed, out of nowhere, it becomes like a very difficult thing for everybody to really continue to supply because of the heavy penalties that are imposed.
So, Mr. Chifularo, let me, and I'm probably going to be simplistic here, but you'll fill in detail where I've been a little bit bland and blunt. Is this a case of SARS coming without notice and advance warning and starting to say to players in this space, hang on a minute, you can't do this and you can't do that? In other words, it's not a timetabled licensing review. It's an intervention, stepping in, changing what you believe to be the rules of engagement around this particular sector of your industry.
John, you don't get a warning from SARS. They come into your facility, especially empowered by like Section 4 of the Customs and Excise Act. They
right.
Said, this is my identification card. I'm here to do like an inspection at your facility. But generally, they will have they know what they are looking for. They will come and then they said, okay, you're not doing this thing according to the regulations or the rules. And then you try to explain yourself. They said, no, I'm not interested. I'm locking up this facility. You can't move anything. There's no warning. Everything, it has to come to a standstill. So that's exactly what is happening. So the product is sitting in various supply points to the airport because it can't be moved. Because I said, no, you need to regularize this, and you can't move anything. That's basically what's happening.
Can you give us some examples, Mr. Chifularo, of the kind of things they say you can't do anymore or you should be doing from now onwards? What kind of things are they? Are they to do with the security of storage? Are they to do with the types of vehicles used to move fuel? I mean, what kind of things are they? Because that would give us a sense as to how long it would take you and others in the sector to comply.
The issue is like who is licensed to handle, aviation kerosene. So in South Africa, we've got storage facilities which are owned by the owners of product. This will be typically our oil companies.
Right.
And then you also have got facilities that are owned by independent storage companies, which they don't own the product. Their job is just to provide storage.
Right.
So in this instance, out of nowhere, SARS says, no, if you are like an independent storage facility owner, you are not supposed to handle like aviation kerosene. But the person who's like utilizing your facility is not the owner of facility. Therefore, is also unable to apply for a license for that facility because it's not there. So those are the kind of things that needs to be resolved so that whatever arrangement that needs to be in place so that that facility can qualify to be licensed, they need to be in place. There must be clarity. The most frustrating issue is that we have not just opened this business yesterday.
Yes.
This has been happening for many years. For now to come to this point where suddenly we've got a shortage of products, while we've got products sitting at the tanks at the ports, it's very amazing to us.
So, and just finally, Mr. Chifularu, if I bring it down to the level of the concerns of many people listening, are we potentially in for a choppy and disrupted period of travel in December when I would think more South Africans fly domestically than any other time of year? Or are you at the very least across a table with SARS where you can perhaps, put the consumers first?
So from our perspective, we are seeing that, the movement of aviation kerosene, is not improving. The arrangements that have been put in place, they are not giving us confidence, that anything is going to be resolved. Because even Cape Town, the process of recovery is very slow.
Yes.
And the restrictions that are put in place, they don't give us confidence that we're going to really have a very nice December.
Sure. Okay. Well, that's something we all need to know about. And clearly, we do need to get SARS on the show and get their perspective on the steps they're taking. That was Abafani Chifularu, Chief Executive at the Fuels Industry Association of South Africa. We thank him for his time.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
For anybody who doesn't know, sort of your journey into the work that you do, like how did you get into that space and how did you find yourself coming to the motherland?
I was dating a South African who was studying in the States. She hated America. So when she graduated, she said, I'm going home. Bye.
Wow. And then you followed her.
No,
there.
dude, I was doing well in New York. I'm like, bye, good luck.
Yes.
And then she was always a big believer of my work. And so she said, why don't you come to South Africa and, consider it. And, at the end of the day, I came to visit a couple times and was just blown away.
Timothy Maurice Webster.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
South African Airways Black Friday deals have landed. For a limited time only, get up to 35% off SAA flights. Whether you're planning a quick break to Mauritius, visiting loved ones in Perth, Australia, or booking your next big adventure in Sao Paulo, Brazil, this is your moment. The SAA Black Friday deal is available until the 30th of November. So book now at flysaa.com or contact your nearest travel agent. South African Airways, taking you further for less this Black Friday.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T&Cs online. Standard rates apply.
Mzansi, get ready to panda Pusha Play Powerball and Powerball Plus for 65 million Rand in total estimated jackpots this Friday. That's right. Play Powerball for an estimated 57 million Rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 8 million Rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda Pusha Play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Good times is what life is all about. But heartburn, indigestion, acid reflux, and UTIs can put a damper on your day. With a wide range of products from Adcock Ingram OTC, you can build a survival pack to help you and your family with your gut and urinary health. Adcock Ingram OTC has you covered with products like Citrus Soda, Adco Mayo Gel, Scopex, and LP299V. Ask your pharmacist for a host of Adcock Ingram OTC solutions for your gut and urinary problems and visit beprepared365.co.za.
The G20 Summit is a stepping stone towards a brighter future for the city. Josie My Josie has launched the Babize Bonke campaign to shine a spotlight on some of the extraordinary champions who are reshaping Johannesburg from the ground up.
My name is Osmic Manwe from Back to the City Hip Hop Festival, the South African Hip Hop Awards, the building of the South African Hip Hop Museum. I believe hip hop creates hope and inspires dreams in Johannesburg and the different lives it has changed. I think it is testament that it is a tool to garner and force change here in Africa.
Josie My Josie is making the invisible visible, giving the voiceless a voice. It's a movement for the people, by the people, creating a city that we can proudly call Josie My Josie. Come see how Josie does it. A city that's alive, ready, and rising. Prime Media and 702 are proud sponsors of Josie My Josie.
Josie My Josie Babize Bonke champion Osmic Menwe will be interviewed on Weekend Breakfast by Gugzum Mhlungu at 8 a.m. on Sunday. Don't miss it.
This is EWN.
A forensic investigation finds Tshwane Deputy Mayor in the wrong and Cape Town still a hotspot for contact crimes. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. EWN has reliably learnt that Tshwane Deputy Mayor Eugene Modise unethically benefited from a company doing business with the municipality. This is contained in a forensic investigation report which says Modise failed to properly disclose his financial interests in Triotic Protection Services. Triotic currently has a multi-million rand contract with the Tshwane municipality to provide security services for the city's properties, assets and personnel. The report, which has been deemed confidential, was tabled behind closed doors during yesterday's council meeting. Thabiso Koba has more.
In February 2023, prior to becoming an ANC Tshwane councillor, Eugene Modise resigned as director of Triotic Protection Services and sold his ownership stake in the company. However, a forensic investigation report found Modise still derives benefits from Triotic through rental income. The report says the property registered to Modise has been leased out to Triotic since 2010. In addition, the report found Modise still receives installment payments from the selling of his ownership stake in the company. It says none of this was declared by Modise as required. The report says the rental income and installment payments received from a company currently doing business with the city represent material breaches and ethical obligations set out for councillors. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
EFF leader Julius Malema has taken a swipe at the Constitutional Court over delays in delivering judgment in the party's challenge over President Cyril Ramaphosa's Phala scandal. During a march to the court in Braamfontein today, Malema accused the Apex Court of dragging its feet. Last year, the EFF approached the court after Parliament dismissed a report which found that Ramaphosa may have breached his oath of office. That report raised serious concerns about the president's conduct in his his handling of the 2020 theft of foreign currency at his Palapala farm in Limpopo. Malema says the court is failing to lead by example by not delivering its judgments on time.
How do you say those who fall under you, after 3 months they must release judgment when the matter is concluded? But you can take the whole year. If you say the lower ones can take 3 months, you must take 2 months to show them that you are leading by example and they must follow your example. Justice delayed is justice denied.
We shift our focus to this now. The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has heard how the instruction for the disbandment of the Political Killings Task Team created a rift among senior officers at the SAPS's headquarters in Pretoria. Acting Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Hilda Sintumule, delivered how her relationship with her boss Shadrack Sibia was strained due to tensions. Sintumule says she was instructed by Sibia to coordinate the handover and audit of 121 dockets that were transferred from the PKTT to the police headquarters. She concluded her testimony this afternoon. Oren Singh has more.
Former Divisional Commissioner for Detective and Forensic Services, Hilda Sintumule, says while she tried to maintain a cordial relationship with her former boss, Shadrack Sibia, things began falling apart over internal squabbles over the disbandment of the PKTT. As part of the phasing out of the task team, Sibia instructed Sintumule to carry out a detailed plan to audit the 121 dockets taken away from the PKTT and facilitate the handover of the dockets to their stations of origin. She says due to her busy schedule, she couldn't prioritize the task, which didn't bode well with Sibia.
I will not say it was one of the best relationships because it's a touch and go. Today, you could be on these good books. Tomorrow, for no reason, you could be in his bad books.
Sintumule was not candid about her stance on the disbandment of the PKTT, strongly opposing the decision to dissolve the task team. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
Let's stay with policing matters. 4 Cape Town police stations appear on the list of the top 5 stations with the highest number of contact crimes in the country. Contact crimes include offences such as murder, attempted murder, sexual offences and robbery. Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia released the national crime statistics in Pretoria today, focusing on the period between July and August of this year. Alfa Ramashwana reports.
The Mfuleni, Nyanga and Delft police stations, all of which are in Cape Town, recorded the highest number of contact crimes in the country. The Inanda police station in Durban is 4th on the list, while 5th place goes to the Kraaifontein police station, which also happens to be in the city of Cape Town. The South African Police Services Crime Registrar Major General Thula Reskukune says the murder rate in the Western Cape between July and September this year remains deeply concerning.
In terms of the murder, we again have the Western Cape and the Northern Cape that have recorded increases. All the other 7 provinces have recorded decreases.
In Gauteng, the Tembisa, Johannesburg Central and Jeppe police stations also appear in the top 10. Meanwhile, the Temba and Mamelodi East police stations are the only ones in Tshwane that feature on the top 30 list. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
And French police are searching for a 19-year-old suspect who escaped prison. The Interior Ministry says the teen, suspected of attempted murder and an accomplice, escaped yesterday using bed sheets and by cutting through the bars of their cell. The accomplice, a 32-year-old, was caught and is now back behind bars. This is the second such incident in the recent weeks, following another escape in the West. The Interior Ministry says officials are working tirelessly to find the 19-year-old. Gold is trading at $4,188.63 an ounce. The rand is at 17.14 to the dollar, 22.66 to the pound, 19.85 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $63.65 a barrel.
In Centurion, traffic sluggish. N1 northbound from John Foster all the way to the R21 Flying Saucer interchange. Irene, also slow-moving traffic. Main road, this is approaching Namepiers Drive, and in Tembisa, traffic heavily backed up on the R21 northbound heading towards Olifantsfontein Road.
In your sport, Mamelodi Sundowns face Rulani Mokwena reunion in the CAF Champions League. The Springboks bid to end their season on a high against Wales. And Pat Cummings to miss the second Ashes test. A cloudy Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with morning fog patches and afternoon thundershowers expected.
Johannesburg dropping to an overnight low of around 12 degrees, peaking at a high of 23. Pretoria 14 and 25, and Vereeniging 12 at a high of 25 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, the Eyewitness News has reliably learnt that Tshwane Deputy Mayor Eugene Modise unethically benefited from a company doing business with the municipality.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
on 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, welcome to the show. If you've just joined us, what have you got lined up for this weekend? Apparently the weather is going to be really not great at all. Wind, rain and so on. I hope you didn't expect too much by way of outdoor activity. Anyway, we will get on with whatever it is that we had planned and make the absolute most of it. 702 Drive. We've got some good stuff on the show today, and of course we've got plenty of great radio over the weekend as well. Coming up, we were going to do an interview around the state of malnutrition in South Africa, but crucially some very interesting ideas on how that can be dealt with. Unfortunately, our guest has just let us know they're unable to come on the show, but we will try and pick up on that story on another occasion. Particularly, I know some of you may have been looking forward to it. Later in the show, much later in the show, Randall Abrams with Randall's One Song. That's at 10 to 5. And then our weekly feature, A Song, a Book and a Dish. We'll chat to the coach of the Women's Proteas cricket team, Mandla Mashimbi, who will be joining us at around 5:45. We asked you about movies, the very first movie scene that made you cry. Some of you have sent us your memories, your movies, and your thoughts.
702. WhatsApp John
On 072
702
1702.
Brother John, don't feel bad about not watching Titanic. It's just 3 hours. You'll never get back in your life. Don't even worry. Don't even worry about it. Spoiler alert, the ship sinks.
Okay, that kind of settles that for me. Now, just some other movies that people are referring to. Disejo says, for colored girls, when the rainbow is enough. The scene when the other guy threw two kids out of the window. That sounds horrendous as well as heartbreaking. And I must admit, I never saw that movie. John Q, when Dad wanted to off himself, says Pomlani. And then with reference to the movie, says Zeno, in regard to the movie that Tolakele referenced, that movie, Me Before You. The other interesting thing about the author Jojo Moyes was she was the screenwriter, and adds, I always love it when authors are also heavily involved with the production work of the movie, as it doesn't derail much from the actual book. Lebo refers to the movie Cry the Beloved. Country doesn't pick out a particular scene. Escape from Sobibor is one that Clayton picks up. Movie scenes that made you cry. Keep those coming, please, on 072 702 1702. It's traffic time.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by South African Airways. SAA now operates 2 flights a day to Gaborone with morning and afternoon departures. Book now at flysaa.com. It's getting busy out in Centurion, I believe. Karabo, what's the latest?
Yeah, that's a Centurion heading towards Linwood. There's slow-moving traffic N1 northbound between John Foster and the R21 Flying Saucer interchange. Irene, also traffic is a bit sluggish on main road. This is approaching May Pierce. In Santon, there's a bit of an issue on Catherine Street. I understand the road is closed off to traffic. Not sure what's going on there, but we have a voice note describing the situation at this stage.
John, just to let you know, the road in Santon, Catherine Road, between Greyston and West Street is closed completely. It seems as though there's some medical assistance that are required that are there, but ambulances are on the scene and traffic department is on the scene there. It's Chris here. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, so as a result of that road closure, there's heavy delays around Sandton. That's on Greyston Drive, as well as West Street, as well as Rivonia Road. So allow for extra traveling time if you're leaving Sandton at this hour. In Kelvin, heading towards Germiston Roadworks, still causing heavy delays. N3 southbound between the Butlu Interchange and London Road. Tembisa, we have heavy delays. This is on the R21 northbound between Olifantsfontein Road and Nelmapius Drive, as well as in Edenvale, bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is between Edenvale Road and the Kilulis Interchange. That's on the R24 westbound. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Experience Johannesburg to Gaborone with South African Airways, where comfort meets convenience. Enjoy premium service, flexible morning and afternoon departures, and the warm hospitality SAA is known for. For a limited time, return fares start from just 2,762 Rand, all-inclusive. Book by 4 December at flysaa.com. South African Airways, bringing you closer. T's and C's apply.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Fusimo Ziket Matlala's evidence concluded yesterday after 2 days of questions around his multi-million rand tender and alleged payments to politicians like former Minister Bheki Cele. Matlala was also grilled about alleged infiltration of law enforcement and his links to drug cartels. Committee member Glennis Breitenbach also took time to list all of Matlala's run-ins with the law, dating back 25 years.
And the problem in this country today is that people like yourself clothe yourself in the respectability of calling yourself a businessman when you are nothing but a dishonest thug.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Study your law degree at Regenesis Law School in Sandton or online and build a successful future with leading multinational corporations, or launch your own legal practice. A Regenesis Law degree is profoundly transformational, shaping intellectually sharp, fearless warriors of justice and purpose-driven lawyers. Regenesis is Africa's fastest-growing education institution with 1,000 multinational clients across 12 countries and a faculty of 100 industry experts. Enroll now for your law degree at Regenesis Law School at law.regenesis.net.
Josie, my Josie, a city made of swag, passion and resilience. Over here, we rise with the sun, Namateksi. We are a city of doers, creators, and believers. When we unite, yonke into iyahlangana. From corner offices to corner veggie stalls, or corner pre-chat and receipt. Josie, my Josie, a city where even those who were not born here are made here. Yabona la, citizenship is awarded to the curious. There's magic and beauty in our city. So we call on everyone to come experience it. Babiza bonke to come see Josie and all its people, because this city is all of us. Come witness our citizens do it. Babiza bonke to come see the actions of the invisibles, those building our city from the ground up, so we have a home we can all proudly call Josie, my Josie. Visit josiemyjosie.com to see how Josie does it.
Mom, I know what I want to be when I grow up.
Oh, really?
I want to be an astronaut.
An astronaut? Aren't you aiming a little high?
Well, that's where you come in. I need you to buy me Pediasure. It has 27 vitamins and minerals to support my growth so that I hit all the milestones, and it's scientifically proven.
Okay, Miss Clever. Where can I buy Pediasure?
It's available at pharmacies and retailers in South Africa.
Pediasure by Abbott. Approved by kids to fuel their dreams.
Brilliant ideas are born every day across Africa, but to come breakthroughs, they need the right home. Wits University is answering that call with the Wits BioHub, Africa's first fully integrated bedside to bench to breakthrough campus. Catch 702 in conversation with Wits University on 702 Drive with me, John Perlman, on Tuesday, the 2nd of December, as we discuss the groundbreaking Wits BioHub with Professor Glenda Gray. Tune in to learn about this 28,000 square meters of world-class science, working to turn discovery into impact for good. Don't miss it on 702.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, let's return now to the city of Tshwane, the Tshwane Metro, where the deputy mayor of Tshwane, the ANC's Eugene Modise, has been the subject of a forensic investigation focusing on a company with which Mr. Modise has links and its winning of a share of the annual budget of 300 million rand for security service provisions in the city of Tshwane. To talk about this, we're joined by DA caucus leader in Tshwane, Celius Brink. Mr. Brink, very good afternoon to you and welcome. What exactly is the status of this report? It was presented in a behind closed doors meeting. Is it a privileged document of some kind, or if anyone in the public manages to get hold of it, is it theirs to read and talk about?
Well, John, it's marked as confidential, but as we told the Speaker, the Code of Conduct for Councillors requires a report into the misconduct of a councillor to be a public document, and that's how we're treating it. So we are very open to discussing the contents of the document, and we believe it's in the public interest. If you have a deputy mayor and a person who controls the finance portfolio to boot, and that person is accused of having a beneficial interest in a multi-million rand contract with the city that has been extended twice on an irregular basis without following competitive bidding processes, then surely the public and the media ought to know about it, ought to discuss it, and ought to hold the mayor and the councillors to account for what they do about it.
So I'm looking at the date when Mr. Modise's company, Triotic, was appointed to a panel of security service providers. It was in February 2022. The mayorship of Tshwane at that time was held by your own party, the Democratic Alliance. Randall Williams was holding the seat as the DA's mayor at the time. I mean, at the time, did Mr. Williams and what presumably would have been a large staff of people, because you did hold the mayoral position, did they not see anything untoward here and blow the whistle perhaps a little sooner?
John, there was nothing untoward in February 2022, because it's only in February 2023 that the proprietor of this company, Eugene Modise, became a councillor.
Right.
Now, it wasn't a matter of public record who the shareholder of the company was. That only became apparent later. It was incumbent upon Mr. Modise to disclose his interest, as we all do. You know, if you've got shares in Sanlam, Old Mutual, if you've got a CC or a private company, you fill out a form every year as a councillor or as a member of parliament saying, this is my shareholding. It's part of your obligation. The second obligation that Mr. Modise had, and later Councillor Modise, was to divest any interests in a company doing business with the state. So I have absolutely no reason to query how Mr. Modise came to own Triotic Protection Services, the company with the security contract,
right?
Or whether he is a legitimate business person. But the point is, the day he was elected as a councillor, he had a duty to declare his interests. And then there was another day when he was elected as the deputy mayor and as member of the mayoral committee for finance of all portfolios. And he still didn't declare his interests. And what he did apparently was to resign his directorship. So you could search for Triotic Protection Services. You wouldn't find his name there, but he held on to the shareholding. And that is a fundamental issue, especially in light of the two subsequent contract extensions, which happened in the absence of the city manager and everybody else knowing that this guy still has beneficial interests in this company.
Just a final one, and I don't know if this comes up in the forensic report, Mr. Brink, but he receives rent for properties that Triotic occupy for the purposes of their business. Did the investigators ask the question as to whether this rent was mark-related, and if they did, what did they come up with?
So the issue of the rental is covered, and let me just say, just the essence of it is they asked him, why did you not declare this interest? And he said no, he had sold his company on an installment sales transaction to somebody else. And the investigator pointed out that even if you sell the company via an installment sales transaction, firstly, where's the contract? He couldn't produce the contract. And secondly, then the beneficial interest hasn't passed to somebody else. But as to the rental, the issue whether it's market related doesn't come up. But the point is the investigators hold that he should have declared the fact that this company leases its offices from him. But in the whole, Triotic is Eugene Modise, and Eugene Modise is Triotic. There aren't any other beneficial shareholders in the company. And John, the crux of this is there's enough information before the council to have recommended Eugene Modise's dismissal from council. There's enough information for Mayor Nasipi Moya to have fired him as MMC for Finance. And yet the majority of council unfortunately voted to refer this matter to a special committee, i.e. kicking the can down the road.
Celius Brink, DA caucus leader in Tshwane, 26 minutes past 4.
Bring your daydreams to life with Norwegian Cruise Line, sailing to over 400 exciting destinations around the world on 21 spectacular ships. Explore iconic landmarks in Europe, hot islands in the Caribbean, and much more. When it comes to dream holidays, think NCL. For the best cruise deals, visit ncl.com or contact your travel agent. Restrictions apply.
You've heard the songs, but until you've seen it live, you haven't experienced the magic of cats. Coming to Monte Casino from 17 January until 22 February, it's the memory shared by millions. Book now at Web Tickets. Brought to you by Peter Turin and GWB Entertainment.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
EWN Business.
Quite an up and down week is certainly the way I recall it, but the man who has the numbers, Stephen Curtis, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, John. I don't know if I should start with Black Friday or the JSE. F&B's having a glitchy Black Friday. Their app's been glitching for much of the day. Down Detector says it started at around 8 o'clock. It's been very intermittent. Other banks, including ABSA, reporting higher than usual transaction numbers. It'll take a little while before we get a full picture of what the volumes are from Black Friday, but I think for F&B, quite a difficult time. The JSE All Share up 0.12%, 110,696 points. Financials down 0.29%, industrials down 1%, and resources up nearly 2% on the day. HCI are down 4.76%. They released their results after the close yesterday, and obviously people going through that. Exaro down 2.44%, Boxer down 2%, and Nedbank down 1.86%, rather Foschini Group down 1.8%, and Truworths down 1.67%. Quantum Foods reporting today that their headline earnings per share were up by 67% for the financial year ending in September. Operating profit up by 55%. And Mantengo Mining, John, you'll know this company. This is the one that's at the center. They've made various claims. I'm not going to repeat those claims here, but let me just say they've been told by a court they can no longer publicly claim that people at the JSE are helping other people to manipulate its share price. But Mantengo Mining say their operating loss increased to nearly 5 million rand, primarily due to high operating costs. It says some of those were once off. Its revenue did also double, which is important to mention. And then confirmation, the former lottery operator Ituba was unable to stop the handover of the National Lottery to Sizakaya Holdings. The court was asked to stop that implementation. Some of the platinum miners are up. Northam is up 5%. Sibanye up 4.42%. Implat's up 3.48%. We Buy Cars up 2.66%. and Alpha Mining up 2.47. In the US, not just F&B that's having a glitchy day. In fact, there were issues around around futures for the Nasdaq and the Dow. Futures basically had to stop being sold for some time because of an issue. It was caused by a cooling problem at a data center. Sounds like something, I don't know, someone put a bottle of water on it to boil it or something. In the end, though, futures do have all three of the indices trending up at the moment when they open. The gold price, $4,187.18. Platinum, $1,645.30. Brent crude, $62.69. The rand to the dollar, 17.11. To the euro, 19.79. To the British pound, 22.63. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Right, thank you, Stephen. Back with us in about 55 minutes' time. It's 29 minutes to 5 right now. Crime stats are out. Some people are picking out the provincial trends, including, I believe, the Western Cape Premier, and Bali Dlamini has that.
That's correct, John. A very good afternoon. Western Cape Premier Alan Winde says the crime statistics released today for the second quarter of the year show that safety and crime prevention programs have reduced murder rates in certain parts of the province. The stats show the murder rate in areas where Law Enforcement Advancement Plan officers operate decreased by 9.4% compared to the same period last year.
We can see that cooperative and locally managed policing programs are reducing murder rates and urgently need to be funded and expanded by national government in those policing precincts where it is needed most.
Winde says the Western Cape spends billions of rands to reduce crime in the province.
This is how we actually scientifically, using data and evidence, reduce the crime rates in our region. I'm still encouraged by the acting police minister Kachalia and his willingness to work together to look for new ways in which we can reduce crime.
Winde says LEAP's success also shows that the Western Cape is ready to take on investigative powers to ensure illegal guns stay off the streets. To this now, the Basic Education Department will start marking matric exam scripts on the 1st of December. The marking period runs until the 18th. Department spokesperson Terence Khala says 52,000 of the country's best markers will begin their work on Monday.
But we do also call on all our markers to uphold their integrity and to remember that behind every swipe of that red pen is a life that is looking to be furthered on the other side.
Khala adds that the department will rely on quality assurance body Umalusi for moderation. He says mathematics paper 2 is of particular importance after public outcry over its difficulty.
Our entity, which is Umalusi, our quality assurance body, which will also then give us the adequate mentions in terms of making sure that they can also then assist us with making sure that the rigor of the papers was high, but then also then looking at the element of where perhaps some standardization needs to be done.
And Hong Kong's anti-corruption watchdog says it has arrested 8 people in connection with the housing estate fire, which killed at least 128 people. The group of 7 men and 1 woman were employed to work on a renovation project at the estate. The blaze tore through 7 of the 8 high-rise blocks on the estate, which contained a total of almost 2,000 units. Yesterday, Hong Kong police also announced that they had arrested 3 men on suspicion of manslaughter as part of their investigations. A cloudy Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with morning fog patches and afternoon thundershowers expected. Lows of between 12 and 14 degrees and highs of between 23 and 25.
In Sandton, Catherine Street remains closed off to traffic. This is between West Street and Grayston Drive due to an incident. Pulls off also bumper-to-bumper traffic on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven, and in Tembisa, traffic remains heavily backed up on the R21 northbound approaching Olifantsfontein Road.
A top story in EWN, Western Cape Premier Alan Winde says the crime statistics released today for the second quarter of the year show that safety and crime prevention programs have reduced murder rates in certain areas of the province.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
For anybody who doesn't know, sort of your journey into the work that you do, like how did you get into that space and how did you find yourself coming to the motherland?
I was dating a South African who was studying in the States. She hated America. So when she graduated, she said, I'm going home. Bye.
Wow. And then you followed her.
No,
Yeah.
dude, I was doing well in New York. I'm like, bye, good luck.
Yes.
And then she was always a big believer of my work. And so she said, why don't you come to South Africa and, consider it. And, at the end of the day, I came to visit a couple times and was just blown away.
Timothy Maurice Webster.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
South African Airways Black Friday deals have landed. For a limited time only, get up to 35% off SAA flights. Whether you're planning a quick break to Mauritius, visiting loved ones in Perth, Australia, or booking your next big adventure in Sao Paulo, Brazil, this is your moment. The SAA Black Friday deal is available until the 30th of November. Book now at flysaa.com or contact your nearest travel agent. South African Airways, taking you further for less this Black Friday.
Kick off to glory with Hollywood Bids and Aziz Shege. Be in the game. Go full speed ahead with the epic competition. You stand to win a share of 4 million rand in cash and prizes, including an all-new Toyota Corolla Cross. Bet 10 rand or more on any soccer fixture or fixtures online or at your nearest branch. Live life in the fast lane. Bet now for your chance to score. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
Pain management is a part of so many people's daily lives. With headaches, muscular pain, dental pain, menstrual pain, and even pain from tension. With Adcock Ingram OTC, build a pain survival pack for you and your family. With a comprehensive treatment range for mild to moderate pain, we have you covered all year round. Available over the counter at your pharmacy. Ask your pharmacist for the Adcock Ingram OTC Pain Survival Pack and visit beprepared365.co.za.
You're up at 4 a.m. trying to find the cheapest building materials, but the Zaminis just shop online with Cash Build whenever. You then pay for expensive delivery or pay Tapo to fetch you with his van. But the Zaminis inquired about free local delivery. So abantu bazotini, when you are still bargain hunting, but the Zaminis are already putting up festive decorations. Be like the Zaminis. Make smarter decisions for your home and shop online with Cash Build for quality building materials at the lowest prices. Cash Build.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
You know, Brad John, this thing of Modise saying with regards to ownership of the company, as well as what Ket Matala said yesterday when a question was posed to him whether he owns the company, he said yes, but apparently his name is not listed on the company documents. And, you know, CIPC started this new requirement now that you need to submit beneficial ownership declaration, because it has noticed that a lot of people are using other individuals to register their companies with in order to hide who the real owner of the company is. And this plays a role mostly when they have to do work with the state.
Yeah, very, very interesting things coming up. Interestingly enough, and thanks for drawing the parallels between those two about to what extent you continue to derive benefits from a company. Very, very pertinent and front and center at the parliamentary hearing, as you pointed out. Some of you are still telling us about movie scenes that brought you to tears. Adrian reminds us of a movie. I never actually saw this. It's 50 years ago that a movie came out. Well, let's hear from Adrian. As a kid, I watched the South African movie. I think it was called A Lollipop. Indeed it was. It went on to be released, I think, in the US under the title Forever Young, Forever Free. And Adrian says one of the saddest scenes in a movie ever. This one, The Land Before Time. I don't know who this is from. But anyway, it says The Land Before Time, a movie about the extinction of dinosaurs that absolutely broke my heart as a child back in the mid-90s. Where else? The Boy in the Striped Pajamas is the movie that did it for Tabang, I beg your pardon. And if we are talking about Masondo, well, here we go. He says, I've never cried over a movie scene, and I probably never, ever will. It's 20 minutes to 5.
EWN Sport.
Midway Premiership football on the go. There's rugby involving the Springboks, and there's a small matter of Grand Prix racing with just 2 races to go. Tola Kele has those stories and more.
Thanks so much, John. And the penultimate round of the Midway Premiership fixtures before the AFCON break takes place this weekend, with the pick of the clashes seeing Durban City hosting Orlando Pirates. The Buccaneers could move 3 points clear at the top of the table with victory, but Gavin Hunt is determined to keep his side in the top 8.
You shouldn't have to say too much to the players. The players know the magnitude of a game. There's obviously a few players that have played in these type of arenas and who haven't played. So it's basically just trying to get them to play to their potential and not get lost in the occasion. That's very important. And believing a little bit themselves. You can't go out there with no belief. And as much as, you can talk about the opposition, it's important we talk about ourselves and try and get ourselves, believing.
On the continent, MC Alger hosts Mamelodi Sundowns tonight in their second group game of the CAF Champions League. Playing in North Africa often is intimidating for visiting teams, but Miguel Cardoso expects the Brazilians to rise to the occasion.
We see ambiances like the ones we're going to face as high-level, motivational, positive ambiances. I worked in Tunisia, so I experienced a lot of this kind of environments. We have a lot of experience on Champions League matches around the Northern Africa that has always this kind of ambiances, and we love them. We love them.
The Springboks conclude their Autumn Nations campaign with a clash against Wales tomorrow. The North versus South series is the last ever, with World Rugby launching the World Rugby Nations Cup, which will be played across the July and November international windows. Rassie Erasmus has discussed how the new competition will impact test-playing nations.
It's something that you as a player treasure. Even people might say this is a bad Wales team and it's a second string South African team. It's a test cap. It's something that you as a team goes together and a player learns a little bit more. So I think if we can work in another maybe one SAA side game before the incoming series next year, just for us to, because the guy would have played 6 nations, we would have played nothing then. And the greatest rival is only post that incoming series in June.
Wales captain Jack Morgan will miss the start of the 2026 Six Nations, having dislocated his shoulder in the test against Argentina at the start of November. The flanker has now undergone surgery and faces 4 to 5 months on the sidelines. And McLaren insists that Lando Norris will not be granted preferential treatment over his teammate Oscar Piastri as the World Championship reaches its climax. Norris' lead at the top has been slashed to 24 points. That's over Red Bull's Max Verstappen, heading into the season's penultimate race in Qatar. Going into the weekend, Norris can win the title if he outscores both Verstappen and Piastri by 2 points. That's in Saturday's sprints and Sunday's main race. Tolagile Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Let's get the latest then at 16 minutes to 5. Problems in Sandton, I believe. Karabo Chali with the details.
While Catherine Street remains closed off to traffic, that's in the Sandton area between West Street and Grayston Drive. There's an incident there. It looks like it's a medical issue. So paramedics and officials have closed off that route. So I expect heavy delays around Sandton at this hour. So allow for extra traveling time. Poles off. There's also about a 20-minute delay on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven. Calvin roadworks still causing heavy delays on the N3 southbound between the Between Interchange and London Road. Tembisa bumper-to-bumper traffic on the R21 northbound approaching Olifantsfontein Road. Also traffic heavily backed up in the Edenville area heading towards Bedford View. R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Giluli's Interchange. Sunwood Park, Boksburg area roadworks causing heavy delays on the N17 eastbound. That's heading towards Brakpan between Rondebolt and Carnival City. And in Centurion, we still have slow-moving traffic. N1 northbound from John Foster all the way to the R21 Flying Saucer Interchange. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a work commuter. She's done this route 1,000 times. Perhaps she's daydreaming of a different job or just counting down to the weekend. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just another car in traffic, it's anticipation on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
14 minutes to 5. I don't know how you've done on Black Friday, whether you found some bargains. I did quite well on a couple of flights. Very well, in fact. I was really, really pleased. And you may have heard us chatting a little bit earlier this week to Paul Ruloff, so he was saying use Black Friday to get stuff you really need and if you can get it at good prices. But I did hear someone telling me, and I can't remember the exact details, but the largest payment, credit card payment recorded this Black Friday has been 500,000 Rand. Now, I've no idea what that would be for. I don't know what the credit limit would have been. Maybe it was by special arrangement. But either way, it is a big chunk of money. But it did prompt the question, what is the most that you've ever spent on a credit card? Now, I don't have a number, but I do know the only time I've spent big amounts on a credit card is when buying paying for flight tickets. Okay. And that's usually been when I'm paying for more people than just myself. And if there's travel out of the country involved, well, of course, the numbers can go up quite steeply. But Tolakele, have you ever whipped out your credit card and not gone ka-ching? There's got to be another noise because ka-ching doesn't do it.
I don't even have a credit card for those reasons.
Okay.
I know myself and I know how impulsive I can be. I'm not trying to get in that much debt, John.
Okay, so you've never had one, or you had one?
Never had one.
Wow.
Okay, and how many times does the bank phone you say, Miss Mganga,
Once
we've noticed.
a month, and they're like, please, like your credit score is. The reason it's like that is because I say to myself, I don't need it.
Yes, yes. The reason I never get wet is I never swim. That's one way of approaching it. How about you, Karabo? Any big credit card spends in your life?
I don't usually use my credit cards. I just use it to accumulate to improve my credit score. The most, I guess, I've spent on my credit card was on groceries.
Yes.
I remember it was December, so I bought groceries for my main house, and then we were going to Zira, so we had to buy.
So you must arrive with something, eh?
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, that's the most I've spent. I think it was not more than 5,000, but yeah. It was. I was like, whoa, okay, let's stop it right there.
Yes, enough. No more ka-chings here. So tell us your story. Maybe you've got a story about something. And by the way, please don't think we're framing this as if you spent a lot of money on your credit card that you did something reckless or wrong. I mean, maybe it was an absolutely great opportunity to get something either of significant personal value or something that represented excellent savings. So your story on that, please, on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. It's 11 minutes now to 5.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
So it's that time of the week when we do some music, and we do it in the company of Randall Abrams. We call it Randall's One Song, and Randall always has a particular song for a particular reason, and he's with us now. Randall, great to have you with us. We're going country this week, and we're going a little bit back in time. One of the giants, Chris Christopherson. What brought him to your attention this week, and then you can get into the song itself. Good afternoon.
Hi, John. I was listening to your show this week, in fact, and you were looking for songs with the word morning in it.
Ah, okay.
I heard a bunch of songs, and I thought, I know a few songs with the title morning, with the word morning in it. What is my favorite? And I would say it has to be this song, Sunday Morning Coming Down, which is, as I say, it's not exactly as uplifting as the Maroon 5 song.
Yes.
But it is the song that turned Chris Christopherson into a professional musician. Initially recorded by Ray Stevens in 1969, but Johnny Cash then went on to have a really big hit with the song, number one country song. And Christofferson was part of what they call the outlaw country movement in the 70s, alongside Waylon Jennings, and a songwriter that had been around for a long time by then. He wrote Crazy for Patsy Cline, Willie Nelson. But Willie Nelson kind of also, hopped aboard the outlaw country train. And I think the songs were, at that stage, you think John Hartford's Gentle on My Mind, those sorts of songs. Songs that were, quite adult, deep, aimed at the everyman, but really, really special songs. And, Christofferson obviously went on to write quite a few others, including Me and Bobby McGee.
Okay, so let's take a listen then. Sunday Morning, Coming Down, a huge hit for Johnny Cash, became a number one hit on the US Billboard US Country charts. But the man who wrote it is the man who you're going to hear right now. Here's Chris Christopherson.
Well, I woke up Sunday morning with no way to hold my head. It didn't hurt. Beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad, so I had one more for dessert. Then I fumbled through my closet for my clothes and found my cleanest dirty shirt. And I shaved my face and combed my hair and stumbled down the stairs to meet the day. I'd smoked my brain the night before on cigarettes and songs that I'd been picking. But I lit my first and watched a small kid cussing at a can that he was kicking. Then I crossed the empty street and caught the Sunday smell of someone frying chicken. And it took me back to something that I'd lost somehow, somewhere along the way. On the Sunday morning sidewalk, wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. 'Cause there's something in a Sunday makes a body feel alone. And there's nothing short of dying half as lonesome as the sound on the sleeping city sidewalks. Sunday morning coming down. In the park I saw a daddy with a laughing little girl.
Do love that line. I fumbled through my closet for my clothes and found my cleanest dirty shirt. I don't know if you've ever been in that kind of situation. Chris Christopherson, Sunday Morning Coming Down. Why do you think the song had such appeal, Randall?
I think for a number of reasons. As I said, this kind of outlaw country, movement. But it's, the production is very sparse, and the song really has to do the talking, as it were.
Yes.
So you can imagine that Cash, when he heard it, it made a lot of sense to him. He was, he could do that kind of talk singing thing. So it's a very intimate song, and you can almost, it's to an extent, it's poetry, because you can almost picture the sidewalk. You can picture the individual, fumbling through his closet. A lot of those references, just, they're almost cinematic in that they put you into a certain position. I was talking about Gentle on My Mind, Gentle on My Mind, the protagonist in the song, you can immediately understand the sensibilities, the feeling, and you're almost immediately inside that person's being, as it were. And I think that's really what works. And again, it's a great country song because it's three chords and the truth, right?
Yes, yes. I mean, it's interesting because we got a message from Ria Randall who says, beautiful, takes me back 40 years when I was at varsity. Now, when I was at varsity, I didn't even know the name of the song. But people, because, that was a particular part of our lives when I probably drank more on a Saturday night than I do now. And that no way to hold my head that didn't hurt, That was would be a point of connection. But it was the line, the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad. So I had one more for dessert. I wonder how many people, listen to that and say, well, I've been there.
Well, I guess that is it, but it's also it's certainly a part of the songwriting tradition. If you take a listen to Springsteen's album Ghost of Tom Joad, the imagery and the sound of the record is quite similar to Christofferson in that, as I say, it's very sparse, couple of acoustic guitars here, a little bit of very soft drums in the background, but the song really has to do the work and has to kind of put you into that particular place. And again, the other thing about writing a song like that, so let's say you come up with a great line like "cleanest dirty shirt," right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got to write other great lines around it.
Yes,
You know what I
yes.
mean? Like a title like Sunday Morning Coming Down. So I would, with respect, I'm sure a lot of people who want to be songwriters have come up with one or two great lines, but can they formulate a great song? And then in the case of Christofferson, can they go on and write "Help Me Make It Through the Night"?
Yes.
Not that easy to do.
Yeah, not that easy to do, but done wonderfully well. And thank you, Randall Abrams, once again bringing us Randall's one song, sharing with us not just the music, but thoughts about the music and some history as well. He'll be back with us at the same time next Friday. It's 3 minutes to 5.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
The U.S. president expectedly taking to Truth Social, saying that the United States did not attend this year's summit in Johannesburg because the South African government refuses to acknowledge or address the horrific human rights abuses endured by Afrikaners. And as a result, South Africa will not be invited to next year's G20 summit. I didn't think it was going to happen quite as soon after the conclusion of the Leaders Summit, but this was bound to happen because this is classic bully behavior.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
For over a decade, Aluma Capital has had one simple mission: to help you secure the financial future you deserve. Over the past 10 years, they've empowered thousands of clients with personalized strategies, expert advice, and impressive returns of up to 13.2%. Whether it's growing wealth, securing retirement, or planning for the unexpected, Aluma Capital is there every step of the way. Visit aluma.co.za today. Aluma Capital is a licensed FSP. T's and C's apply.
Mzansi, get ready to ponder Pusha Play Powerball and Powerball Plus for 65 million rand in total estimated jackpots this Friday. That's right. Play Powerball for an estimated 57 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 8 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusha Play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. eTuba is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for plumbers, electricians, and other tradesmen. Pumlani.
Switching to Outsurance was one of the best decisions that we've ever made. We needed business cover, over 15 million. Outsurance came forth for us. At Kani, we sleep better at night, knowing that we always get something out of Outsurance.
Switch to Business Outsurance, and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
702 Drive. Well, after 5 o'clock, we are going to look at a rather alarming development in relation to Parliament's ad hoc committee looking into police corruption. News earlier today that Vusi Shongwe, one of the MK Party MPs, part of a group of 3 of them who have been the representatives of that party in the committee and asking questions and engaging with the various people, giving Evidence, according to the party 2 days ago, he was hijacked and held against his will, obviously, for a period of time, questioned, intimidated. His devices were confiscated and there were attempts to extort money from him. We'll find out more about what exactly happened and what needs to happen next. The MK Party's Ntlela will be joining us at about 5:10. It's 5 o'clock now, and this Eyewitness News is brought to you by Checkers, the home of Black Friday, where you can save up to 50% this weekend.
This is EWN.
The DA in Tshwane to open a case of fraud against the city's deputy mayor and delays in hearings of the TRC Commission of Inquiry. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The DA in Tshwane says it will be opening a case of fraud against Deputy Mayor Eugene Modise. This follows the release of a forensic investigation report that revealed he unethically benefited from a company currently doing business with the municipality. The report says Modise claims rental income from leasing out one of his properties to Triotic Protection Services. Modise used to be one of the company's directors. However, he resigned in February 2023, a few weeks before he became a PR councillor for the ANC in Tshwane. The report says Modise breached several sections of the councillor's code of conduct by not properly disclosing his financial interest in the company. DA Caucus Chief Whip Jackie Ace says Modise has abused his position as both deputy mayor as well as finance MMC.
The DA will lodge a case of fraud against Tshwane Deputy Executive Mayor Eugene Modise. An investigative report confirms that Modise unlawfully benefits from a contract between the municipality and Triotic Protection Services.
Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia has called on the city of Ekurhuleni to take decisive action against its Metro Police Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi, who has been implicated at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Mkhwanazi allegedly entered the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department into a fraudulent agreement with CAT VIP Protection, a company owned by suspected criminal Vusumuzi Kat Matlala. The agreement allowed the security company to unlawfully use blue lights belonging to the Metro Police Department. During the release of the latest crime statistics, Minister Kachalia answered questions regarding Matlala's alleged influence within the EMPD. Alfara Mushwana has more.
It's been 2 years since police watchdog IPID recommended the city of Ekurhuleni take disciplinary action against EMPD Deputy Chief Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi over his alleged ties to Vusumuzi Kat Matlala. However, Mkhwanazi was only suspended 2 weeks ago following the public mention of his name at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says the city of Ekurhuleni must take stronger action in addressing the allegations against the EMPD top cop.
Of course, the management and leadership of Ekurhuleni have to deal with this matter. And until we get to a point where there is a response in such cases, we will not get control over this problem of criminal infiltration into law enforcement agencies.
2 senior city officials have been named at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry for allegedly shielding Brigadier Mkhwanazi from being held accountable. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has heard how factional disputes over the disbandment of the Political Killings Task Team stalled investigations into 121 politically related cases. Testifying before the Commission today, Acting Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Hilda Sintumule, outlined clear factional divides within the police's top brass. The Commissioner saw this as a blatant disregard for the law, as police management on multiple occasions failed to adequately address the disbandment of the PKTT. Oren Singh has more.
In May, Hilda Sintumule was tasked with carrying out a detailed plan to audit 121 dockets taken away from the PKTT and facilitate the handover of the dockets to their stations of origin. She says when she engaged KZN police boss Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi about returning the dockets to the province, he He wanted nothing to do with it.
He didn't say to me, don't bring the dockets. He said to me, if you bring the dockets, know this, I won't be responsible for them.
Madlanga Co-Commissioner Advocate Sandile Kumalo accused police top brass of prioritizing their own agendas over the victims of crimes.
All of you let the victims of crime down because these are now internal squabbles at senior national police level, and it is impacting victims of crime.
The dockets were returned to the PKTT in August, 4 months after being transferred to Pretoria. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
And the Commission of Inquiry into the Truth and Reconciliation Commission will not be hearing testimonies until next year. Proceedings have stalled due to applications made by the parties in the matter. The inquiry, chaired by retired Justice Sisi Gampepe, is tasked with investigating the hold-up in the prosecution of TRC-related cases. Khomotso Modise has more.
The Judicial Commission of Inquiry is set to investigate the reasons for the delays in prosecuting TRC cases, but the inquiry has been subjected to its own delays. President Cyril Ramaphosa established the commission in May and gave it 6 months to carry out its work. But 6 months later, the first witness has not taken the stand, and the commission has asked the president for an extension. The commission spokesperson Lionel Ardendorf says the request was a difficult one for retired Justice Sisi Gampepe, who has a record of concluding her commissions in time and within budget.
The motivation for it was the fact that the commission was announced on the 29th of May, and for 2 months, nothing has happened because the first staff member of the commission only started on the 1st of August.
This week, commissioners heard arguments for the recusal of Chief Evidence Leader Advocate Ishmael Semenya, a matter the panel has not made a ruling on. The first witness is now scheduled to take the stand at the end of January. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
Gold is trading at $188.63 an ounce. The rand is at 17.13 to the dollar, 22.63 to the pound, 19.85 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $63.65 a barrel.
In Poleshoff, you can expect about a 20-minute delay on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven. Sandton Catherine Street remains closed off to traffic between West Street and Grayston Drive due to an incident, and there's also bumper-to-bumper traffic in the Tembisa area on the R21 northbound approaching Olifantsfontein Road.
In your sport, Mamelodi Sundowns face Rulani Mokwena reunion in the CAF Champions League. The Springboks bid to end their season on a high against Wales. And Pat Cummings to miss the second Ashes test.
A cloudy Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with morning fog patches and afternoon thundershowers expected. Johannesburg dropping to an overnight low of 12 degrees, peaking at 23. Pretoria 14 and 25, and Vereeniging 12 at a high of 25 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. The DA in Tshwane says it will be opening a case of fraud against Deputy Mayor Eugene Modise.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Checkers has issued a nationwide Black Friday announcement with savings of up to 50% from everyday groceries to top tech appliances and so much more. The deal making waves countrywide is Baby Soft 2-ply toilet rolls, 18 per pack for 99 Rand. Save 71 Rand. So grab your extra savings card and make the most of these massive savings. In store only while stocks last. Checkers, the home of Black Friday.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
on 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 9 minutes past 5. It looks like a really nice end of the day here. Sun seems to be shining. I hope there's not too much rain out there. I have to tell you, my drive home yesterday was completely insane in the last part of it. Fast forward to the last bit of the drive, which involved crossing Glenhove Road and then going past the Killarney Golf Course. I don't know what that road's called, but on that road, people just going the other way, trying to get to the highway, had turned it into 2 lanes going one way.
Sheesh.
It was crazy. I've never seen that in a kind of a regular evening commute. I had to sort of weave my way onto grass embankments, and it was as much, because the road, the direction I was trying to go was blocked, and it was ordinary civilian cars. People say, oh, well, taxis do that often. There wasn't a taxi in sight. These were ordinary Joburgers who, to me, had taken leave of their senses. And I do wonder about that. Maybe you want to give me a call on that. I mean, have you ever done anything like it where you just say, well, what the heck, this is the only way I'm going to get home. I'm going to join everybody else who's being crazy. I mean, is there a tipping point at which we all go a bit nuts? Not all of us, but enough of us go crazy to create a situation that really doesn't help anybody. Anyway, I made it home. I made it here. I expect to make it home tonight. So we'll give you a traffic update. Hopefully there's nothing as bad as yesterday. Yesterday, anything around the M1 southwards, I think, was properly crazy. Coming up on the show in the next half an hour or so, we're going to get an update from the MK party, from spokesperson and Member of Parliament Nhlamulo Ndlela. This to do with one of his colleagues, Vusi Shongwe, who's taking part in that ad hoc committee, who was kidnapped, threatened, robbed, and there was some extortion involved as well. And the details of that, I think, of crucial importance, given that the committee continues and there are other members as well who might consider themselves vulnerable. Speaking of crimes, the crime stats are out. Professor Jacob Mofokeng, independent crime and security expert, gives us his take on those numbers. And then in the last part of the show, a song, a book, and a dish. Somebody who's achieved remarkable things with the Proteas women's cricket team at the most recent World Cup. Coach Mandla Mashimbi will be my guest at about 20 to 6.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John. There were these cartoons when we were young, Africans cartoons. I think they're called Patraj. So this dog died. It devastated most of us. When we were kids, that was so bad. I still remember, most of us were crying.
Good afternoon, John. I think, as you just said now, you're going to be interviewing Nhlamulo Ndlela with regards to one of the MKP members, probably prominent members, who has been hijacked. This is the problem that I have. This other time, most of my money, there was a crime that happened where he was, I think he was at a restaurant somewhere. And you see, the problem with people who are our leaders is that when things really affect them, they want to make noise about it. They, we live as ordinary South Africans, we live this level of crime day by day. They say nothing. Once it gets closer to their door, they want to speak as if it's something new. Why can they not nip it in the bud? Because they are there. They are the ones who are supposed to be making change and driving change to happen. Eden from Marshalltown. I get frustrated when these people come up, and this, I know this sounds very cold, but can they not, when it affects ordinary South Africans, make noise about it? Not only when it's about them.
Yeah, Eden, I think you're making points that will echo with many people, but I do want to push back on you slightly and say this. I don't think this was just simply an example of crime. If this is an attempt to pervert and undermine and indeed threaten the work of a parliamentary committee, then I think we have to frame the conversation in the context of that reality. That in no way invalidates your broader point that politicians ought to speak out more than they do, act more decisively than they often do on issues of crime. But I do think the conversation we hope to have with Mr. Ndlela shortly has another context as well that I don't believe we should ignore. We'll get to that shortly. It's 5:14.
EWN Traffic.
Right, let's get the very latest from the roads. Karabo Chale, tell me it's going to be easier today than it was yesterday.
Unfortunately not, John. At this stage in the Poleshoff area, there's about a 20-minute delay on Witkoppen Road This is between Main Road and Stonehaven, while in four ways. Traffic pressure on Winnie Mandela Drive between Bryanston Drive and Erling. There's also bumper-to-bumper traffic. That's in the Calvin Alex area due to roadworks. N3 southbound between the Butlu interchange, and this is between the Butlu interchange and London Road. In Tembisa, traffic heavily backed up. R21 northbound approaching Olifantsfontein Road, while in Edenville, bumper-to-bumper traffic on the R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange. Sunwood Park, Boksburg, roadworks causing heavy delays on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City, while in the city of Tshwane, Centurion, traffic is heavily backed up. N1 north from John Foster all the way to the R21 Flying Saucer interchange, and in Irene also expect some delays on Main Road. This is approaching Nalmay Pierce Drive. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Yeah, and in fact, Ross has responded to exactly that. Thank you, Ross. He says, is there any chance you could warn everyone that Queen Street in Kensington is currently shut off due to a gigantic hole in the road? People should be advised to give Sovereign Street a try. Thank you, Ross. I'm sure people heading that way who may not know the area well will appreciate that advice. 5:16.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
A decade ago, the Science Forum was sort of like a bold idea, and today it's this continental beacon. What was the original vision, and has it really been realized now?
Yeah, actually, its original vision has been realized and exceeded, but the reality is that it's become really global. So you can see, even if you walk around the exhibitions, you got exhibitions from China, you got exhibitions from Europe.
Dr. Mboneni Moepe, DDG for Socio-Economic Partnerships at the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
As an FSCA regulated broker, Prime XBT gives you the confidence to trade market volatility your way. Enjoy low trading fees, advanced tools across crypto futures and CFDs, and VIP discounts of up to 70% available to new traders. Take advantage of free deposits and withdrawals with crypto options and local South African payment methods. Prime XBT, empowering traders to succeed. Trade responsibly. Trading comes with risk.
Black Friday weekend is now on at Checkers. Save up to 50% on deals like Coca-Cola Original Taste Less Sugar Soft Drinks 1.5 litres, 4 for 49 Rand, save 35 Rand. Bacoma Wheat Bix 1.35 kgs for 69 Rand, save 21 Rand. And Baby Soft 2-ply toilet rolls 18 per pack for 99 Rand, save 71 Rand. Deals valid until Sunday, 30 November 2025. Only at Checkers and Checkers Hyper. In-store only.
Do you suffer from heartburn and hyperacidity? To relieve heartburn for the whole day and night with one tablet, a potent once-a-day treatment which was previously prescription only is now available over the counter. Ask your pharmacist for an over-the-counter, long-lasting heartburn treatment. Brought to you by Sandoz.
702 was in conversation with Momentum on The Money Show with Stephen Grootes, discussing the power of focus and the science of success.
I think it's a test that most people would benefit from because, when I did the test, I kind of knew how, my relationship with money, but also it clearly stated that I wasn't scared of taking risks and making moves in business. But at the same time, I also had a real fear of kind of, I guess, running out of money or not being able to support my family, and that in the back of my head, whenever I do something, I guess the older you get, the less you're inclined to take risks, and I guess at the end of the day, what I learned from the test is, yes, I am a risk taker, but I'm also conservative, and it's more calculated risks than just wild risks.
Visit momentum.co.za for more info. Momentum, your journey to success. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. Let's look at the very latest crime statistics now released today. Quarterly crime stats show that the number of murders are down, but we still, over the 6-month period, recorded 11,500 murders in South Africa. Professor Jacob Mofokeng is an independent crime and security expert and joins us now. Prof, welcome and thanks very much for your time. When I look at the crime hotspots, the stations where these huge problems are so prevalent, 7 out of 10 of them are in Cape Town. How should we understand that? What do you make of that? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John, and good afternoon to your listeners. Thank you for having me. Cape Town has remained one of the challenging terrains for the South African Police Service to be able to effectively, police it adequately, maybe because of, challenges such as gangsterism. We know that it is the home of Democratic Alliance for quite a long time, whose political leaders run the city, place, the blame cost at the feet of the SAP. So there have been, certain articulations in the past to say that, well, remember what has been said at the Matanga to say that maybe there has to be dissolution of power so that more money can be controlled at that particular local level. But then I think it is something that, the South African Police Service as well as, DA to be able to understand the complexities, why then this particular province could be seen as if it is the one that is contributing hugely to the challenge of crime in South Africa.
Prof, I'm just wondering what we should make of these quarterly statistics, because obviously numbers go up and numbers go down. But if you were to take 3 or 4 quarters in a bunch, are you seeing any trends that trend in a positive direction? I realize that over a particular quarter, there could be circumstantial reasons, seasonal, for example, as we move into the festive season, there are particular trends that come out there. But are we winning on any front in the battle against crime if we don't just look at these stats, but aggregate them over a longer period?
Well, we still need crime statistics, even though the Auditor General, has expressed a significant concern regarding the accuracy. So whatever that has been submitted to us, then we need to be able to embrace it. But then your question, I think we can make use of it to say that, well, we are moving slowly forward, in terms of trying to be able to see, are we winning? Hence, then we have the so-called task teams, to be able to be deployed elsewhere where, we see that there are some hotspots. And currently, this is the challenge that we are having now before the Matanga Commission to say, do we need to formalize these task teams, to become, falling into certain, units? I will say that indeed, there is a progress in terms of the use of crime statistics because I think, to a larger extent, certain processes or procedural programs within, in a provincial level, they are being informed by the pattern of crimes. Of course, there are other factors that are outside of the control,
yes,
that can be able to spike in a particular time. But I think we still need to rely on crime statistics to be able to inform us on the middle as well as a long-term process.
Thanks so much, independent crime and security expert, Professor Jacob Mofokeng. 24 minutes past 5.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
Well, let's turn to this now. A very worrying story coming out of the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee looking into police corruption. News that one of the 3 members of the MK party sitting on that commission, Vusi Shongwe, I think 2 days ago, was hijacked, robbed, effectively kidnapped, but also threatened in various ways in regards to the work he was doing on the commission. Let's get an update on that, and welcome to the show, MK Party spokesperson Nhlamulo Ndlela. Mr. Ndlela, welcome, and thanks very much for your time. First of all, how is Mr. Shongwe today? He's obviously been through an incredibly difficult time. How is he doing, and was he alone at the time?
Yes, good afternoon, John, and thank you for inviting me. No, Mr. Shongwe, Honorable Shongwe, is doing fine. It happened on the 26th that we stated. The ordeal lasted 5 hours from 10 o'clock in the evening, where they had kidnapped him and took some money, made him, withdraw huge amounts of money. And then also, in effect, take his devices and questioned him. So, and threatened him by the time he had left. So, by the time it was 3 a.m., they obviously had really shook him.
Yes. Tell us this, Mr. Ndlela. You obviously, as the MK Party, and I'm sure this would be echoed by the other parties represented on the committee, saying that members need to be protected. Did it in the threats that they issued? Did the abductors, these criminals, focus on specific aspects of the commission's work? What kind of clues might they have left as to what in particular they were focused on and concerned with?
So, as you would know, the members of the ad hoc committee are having to, question and interrogate hardened criminals, people who are very connected, people who've got access to levers of power, the state. So what we've picked up, and we've obviously shared with the police, and he's obviously shared with the police. At this point, I would.
Okay, I hope we're not losing our line to Nhlamulo Ndlela. Mr. Ndlela, if you could just move around, perhaps pick up a better signal as you do that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better. Thank you. You were saying you've shared with the police, and then we've lost that. We lost you at that point.
Yes, I would say that we've shared the information, and he's obviously shared a lot of information with the police. And at this point, I'd be reluctant to discuss those details by virtue of the fact that it's an ongoing investigation. But, this is not only the only case. There's also a situation of the, members of our committee, specifically the MK members, who have also been intimidated. One of those being Paul O'Sullivan, who intimidated Honorable Nomvalo, and we've also had to report that. There's all sorts of threats and intimidation and instances such as this. And what concerns us is that Parliament is not really ramping up security, and they've really been dragging their feet pertaining to this matter. And it's really concerning. And hence, our Chief Whip has now written to the Speaker requesting her intervention to avoid these kind of situations. Yeah.
Mr. Ndlela, what for you would, particularly in regards to the kind of physical threat that Mr. Shongwe was subjected to, have you been specific in what you're asking for? Are you asking for example, police escorts, bodyguards? What would meet your need, and what for you would be a sufficient response?
Look, I think naturally there'd be a security assessment that'd be done, and again, that assessment will then come with a determination in terms of what kind of resources are needed. And at this point, I wouldn't, because I'm not a security expert. I guess
yes.
Those who are well equipped and well informed in what's happening will then obviously make the recommendations in terms of what kind of security is required.
Thanks so much. Nhlamulo Ndlela, MK Party spokesperson, 28 minutes past 5.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis with the end of the week's trade here on the JSE, and a look ahead, of course, to tonight's money show between 6 and 8. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, John. Well, the JSE All Share ending the day up 0.33%, 110,959 points. Financials down 0.08. Resources down 1 1/3. Industrials down 1 1/3. Resources up nearly 3%, largely because of a much stronger platinum price. Gold also a lot higher, I must just say. F&B having a very difficult Black Friday. Their app's been glitching today. Other banks reporting, of course, much higher transaction numbers. In the last 10 minutes or so, getting results out of Eskom. We'll have those results for you on the Money Show tonight. And in fact, we'll speak to their Chief Financial Officer, John, their interim results for the 6 months to the end of September. Quantum Foods reporting their headline earnings per share up by 67% for the financial year ending in September. They say operating profit was up by 55%. And confirmation also, the former lottery operator Ituba was unable to go to court and stop the handover of the license to Sizakaya Holdings. So Sizakaya Holdings will take over the lottery next year. Really, platinum prices up. Northam Volterra up by nearly 7%. Sabania up nearly 5.5% at the moment. And gold miners up 2%. DRD Gold up 3.58%. HCI down 3.6%. John, they released their results very late last night after the bell, so to speak. And so just going through those, Naspers down nearly 3% and MTN down 2.6%. In the United States, they seem to be having a good sort of after Thanksgiving day. The Dow Jones is up 0.36%. The Nasdaq is up 0.23%. The S&P 500 is up 0.2% on the day. The gold price, $4,194.14. Platinum, $1,646.60. Brent crude, $62.92. The rand to the dollar, 17.12 to the euro, 19.80 to the British pound, 22.63. So on the Money Show, we'll speak to the Chief Financial Officer at Eskom, John, as we go through their results, those just being released now. We will also look at the issue around aviation fuel. There's a very complicated tax thing. We'll look at the world of fashion. I know you're an expert. And don't forget the Friday Biz Blitz as well. That checkered shirt's very, I suppose you, dare I say you. Don't throw that at me. That's not nice.
No, I'm not throwing anything at you. People, YouTube. You can go and follow us on YouTube. You can check out Stephen's shirt. You can check out mine. Draw your own conclusions.
Mr. Who's more fashionable? Well, obviously you're going to win.
Who of the least fashionable is the least... No, how do you put it? The least worst. Yes. You got it. Please carry on.
Well, I'm Stephen Curtis and I'm fashionably late because it's just 5:30. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
We had a lovely line, by the way, with Randall Abrams from a Chris Christopherson song where he says he shuffles through his wardrobe for his cleanest dirty shirt. So I don't know how we reframe it. Our trendiest, unfashionable shirt. There we go. We'll do our level best. Time for the very latest Eyewitness News. Here's Mbali Dlamini. 28 minutes to 6 it is. What's happening?
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Western Cape Premier Alan Winde says the crime statistics released today for the second quarter of the year show safety and crime prevention programs have reduced murder rates in certain parts of that province. The stats show the murder rate in areas where Law Enforcement Advancement Plan officers operate decreased by 9.4% compared to the same period last year.
We can see that cooperative and locally managed policing programs are reducing murder rates and urgently need to be funded and expanded by national government in those policing precincts where it is needed most.
Winde says LEAP's success also shows that the province is ready to take on investigative powers to ensure illegal guns stay off the streets. He says the Western Cape spends billions of rands to reduce crime in the province.
This is how we actually scientifically, using data and evidence, reduce the crime rates in our region. I'm still encouraged by the acting police minister Kachalia and his willingness to work together to look for new ways in which we can reduce crime.
The Basic Education Department will start marking matric exam papers on the 1st of December. The marking period runs until the 18th of that month. Department spokesperson Terence Khala says 52,000 of the country's best markers will begin their work on Monday.
But we do also call on all our markers to uphold their integrity and to remember that behind every swipe of that red pen is a life that is looking to be furthered on the other side.
Khala adds that the department will rely on quality assurance body Umalusi for moderation. He says mathematics paper 2 is of particular importance after public outcry over its difficulty.
Our entity, which is Umalusi, our quality assurance body, which will also then give us the adequate mentions in terms of making sure that they can also then assist us with making sure that the rigor of the papers was high, but then also then looking at the element of where perhaps some standardization needs to be done.
And Hong Kong's anti-corruption watchdog says it has arrested 8 people in connection with a housing estate fire which killed at least 128 people. The group of 7 men and 1 woman were employed to work on a renovation project at the estate. The blaze tore through 7 of the 8 high-rise blocks at the estate, which contains a total of 2,000 units. Yesterday, Hong Kong police also announced that they had arrested 3 men on suspicion of manslaughter as part of their investigations. A cloudy Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with morning fog patches and afternoon thundershowers expected. Lows of between 12 and 14 degrees and highs of between 23 and 25.
In Paulshof, you can still expect about a 20-minute delay on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven. 4 ways. There's a bumper-to-bumper traffic on Winnie Mandela Drive between Bryanston Drive and Erling. And in Sandton, Catherine Street remains closed off to traffic. That's between West Street and Greyston Drive due to an incident.
The top story in EWN, Western Cape Premier Alan Winde says the crime statistics released today for the second quarter of the year shows safety and crime prevention programs have reduced murder rates in certain parts of that province.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
On the Midday Report, every day from 12 to 1 p.m, we will bring you breaking news from the scene as it unfolds with newsmakers, reporters, commentators, experts and analysts. We'll explain the stories of the day, give you context for why they are important and what they mean for you. It is everything you need to know in 1 hour, from news to global events, business, sports, science, books and always some good news too. Appointment listening every day at 12 with the Midday Report.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Unbox up to 70% off with At Home this Black Friday. New deals and more styles have just been added. Get 25% off all bedding and inners, including Granny Goose. Plus, elevate your kitchen with up to 20% off all kitchenware, including 2,000 Rand off Sage appliances. Shop these exclusive deals in-store or online, now on Bash for a limited time while stocks last. TFG Rewards members only. T's and C's apply. At Home, imagine more.
Elevate your flying experience with Lift Premium. Enjoy even more space, comfort, and convenience with priority boarding, extra baggage allowance, and complimentary lounge access. Visit lift.co.za today.
Mzansi, get ready to pan the Pusha Play Powerball and Powerball Plus for 65 million Rand in total estimated jackpots this Friday. That's right, play Powerball for an estimated 57 million Rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 8 million Rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda Pusha Play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
James, congrats on the babies.
Yeah, thanks. It's a wild ride.
You're a new dad, 2 babies, 0 sleep, and 1 car that apparently couldn't cope.
Yeah, the hatchback was my baby, but it just didn't have enough space for my 2 new babies.
And are you happy with the price when you sold to WeBuy Cars?
Very. We've even got some extra cash to splurge on one of those fancy prams that you basically need a license for.
Good luck, James. WeBuy Cars. Geared for family, geared for you.
EWN Sport.
Tolakele Mganga, very good afternoon to you. One more time on this show, although you'll be on with Stephen as well. The latest in sport, please.
Thanks so much, John. And match day 2 in the CAF Champions League begins tonight as MC Algier hosts Mamelodi Sundowns. The clash will see Rulani Mokoena up against his former side, but Miguel Cardoso has warned his Brazilians not to allow those emotions to get the better of them.
It's absolutely wonderful to have full stadiums, supportive stadiums, beautiful shows around, and that's what we live for. That's for these moments that the players work so many years so that they arrive on these stages and they can show what they are made of.
There are 5 games in the Bedway Premiership this weekend, starting off with tonight's clash between Richards Bay and Amazulu. Tomorrow, Durban City host Orlando Pirates, and Gavin Hunt has provided this assessment of the Buccaneers, who are currently joint top with Sundowns with 2 games in hand.
The strength of theirs is when they play around your box, isn't it? That's their strength. You saw again on the weekend or on Tuesday. So I always say to talk about it all day and analyze it and know they're moving, the passing patterns, but when the game is moving and the ball is moving at 100 miles an hour, and you're in there like the players are, like I've been, you understand, you can talk all day. You need to be really switched on. You need to be concentrating on the final moments.
Estudiantes president Juan Sebastian Veron has been banned for 6 months by the Argentine Football Association because he refused to form a guard of honor for new champions Rosario Central. The former Manchester United and Chelsea midfielder, along with Estudiantes' players, were protesting at Rosario being named league champion. That's as a result of a rule change made by the Argentine FA last week. Veron has been given a 6-month suspension from all football-related activities, while his players have been suspended for 2 matches from next season. And in rugby, double World Cup winning coach Rassie Erasmus says the global game needs a strong Wales. The 2 teams clash in the final games of the Autumn Nation Series tomorrow. That's amid Welsh rugby being in disarray on and off the field, with an alarming decline during the past couple of years and the senior men's team having lost 20 of its past 22 tests.
When I coach Munster, Scarlets and these boys were tough games to play. So I just think whatever is wrong off the field, I don't know what it is. You certainly have the guts and the players and the will, and that will come right the moment. Whatever, I don't know what's wrong there, gets fixed. But we need a strong Welsh team. We need it. It has to be. I mean, they're just a tradition of loving to play against them.
Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Coming up for 19 minutes to 6, EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Let's get the very latest traffic news then. Karabo Santon still a jam.
Yeah, I'm afraid the Catherine Street remains closed off to traffic in the Sandton area. This is between West Street and Greyston Drive. There's a medical issue there paramedics are dealing with. It's not clear exactly what happened there, but if you have any info, if you're on that route, please be our eyes and ears. Let us know. WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702. There's also slow-moving traffic. Actually, you can expect about a 20-minute delay in the Poleshoff area on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven. 4 ways traffic pressure on Winnie Mandela Drive between Bryanston Drive and Erling. Calvin Alex area traveling towards Bedford View. Roadwork still causing heavy delays. N3 southbound. That's between the Batlu Interchange and London Road, while in Tembisa, traffic heavily backed up on the R21 northbound approaching Olifantsfontein Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance Pointsmen can't help you pitch your idea to your manager, but they can ease the traffic congestion so you get to the office on time to wow them with your presentation. With the Outsurance Pointsmen on the roads for the past 20 years, we can all get where we need to be quickly and safely. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using #PointsmenLove, licensed insurer and FSP.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Usimo Ziket Matlala's evidence concluded yesterday after 2 days of questions around his multi-million rand tender and alleged payments to politicians like former Minister Bheki Cele. Matlala was also grilled about alleged infiltration of law enforcement and his links to drug cartels. Committee member Glennis Breitenbach also took time to list all of Matlala's run-ins with the law, dating back 25 years.
And the problem in this country today is that people like yourself clothe yourself in the respectability of calling yourself a businessman when you are nothing but a dishonest thug.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
South African Airways Black Friday deals have landed. For a limited time only, get up to 35% off SAA flights. Whether you're planning a quick break to Mauritius, visiting loved ones in Perth, Australia, or booking your next big adventure in Sao Paulo, Brazil, this is your moment. The The SAA Black Friday deal is available until the 30th of November. Book now at flysaa.com or contact your nearest travel agent. South African Airways, taking you further for less this Black Friday.
Let's count backward. 5. Insurance. 4. Pineapple. 3. Insurance. 2. Pineapple. 1. You're under. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
The G20 Summit is a stepping stone towards a brighter future for the city. Josie My Josie has launched the Babize Bonke campaign to shine a spotlight on some of the extraordinary champions who are reshaping Johannesburg from the ground up.
My name is Osmic Manwe from Back to the City Hip Hop Festival, the South African Hip Hop Awards, the building of the South African Hip Hop Museum. I believe hip hop creates hope and inspires dreams in Johannesburg and the different lives it has changed. I think it is testament that it is a tool to garner and force change here in Africa.
Josie My Josie is making the invisible visible, giving the voiceless a voice. It's a movement for the people, by the people, creating a city that we can proudly call Josie My Josie. Come see how Josie does it. A city that's alive, ready, and rising. Prime Media and 702 are proud sponsors of Josie My Josie.
Josie My Josie Babize Bonke champion Osmic Menwe will be interviewed on Weekend Breakfast by Gugzum Hlungu at 8 a.m. on Sunday. Be sure to listen.
A song, a book, and a dish.
On 702.
Well, my guest today has had a remarkable career as a cricket coach, an excellent career as a cricket player before it was all ended for him, that part of his cricket life at least, by injury. He's somebody who grew up in Phalaborwa. We'll talk about other cricketers who've come from that place. But we're delighted to welcome to 702 Drive the man who was a key part of the enormous success achieved by South Africa's women cricketers at the recent World Cup. Fell at the last hurdle to India in the final, but boy, did they play some great cricket on the way there, and more to come, I'm sure. Mandla Mashimbi, welcome. It's great to have you with us on 702 Drive. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thanks so much for giving us some absolutely enthralling cricket, not on your own, of course, because the team played their part as well. But I want to ask you, before we get into some of the things we always explore on this conversation, a little bit back into your life in Phalaborwa and elsewhere, but being a cricket coach, you have to look on at a distance a great deal. It's not like a football coach who's prowling the touchline, screaming instructions. Did that take a lot of getting used to after being a player?
Yeah, well, the thing is, as a coach, what makes you different to obviously the rest of the individuals in the team, coaching staff, and the players themselves is that you're the only one that is allowed to go into the future.
Yes.
And work your way back and then come up with a plan in terms of how you're going to get there.
Yes.
And then sell that plan to the player. And yeah, it was something to get used to, because now I have to think ahead and then, pave a way to get there. And then obviously, hopefully the players buy into the methods that you come up with to make sure that they succeed in whatever they're doing.
One of the other things you do, of course, apart from working on the big picture, is work at a level of real detail with individual players. A number of them during and after the World Cup said you'd worked with them on technique, on approach, maybe on some mental preparation and so on. Tell us a little bit about that, and is that part of the work that you particularly enjoy? Obviously, team success is paramount, but getting a sense of players who have seen their own game improve in leaps and bounds. I'm thinking, for example, of the batting of someone like Nadine de Klerk.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand each player individually because when you want to create an environment that's going to be fertile for growth, fertile for these players to become better versions of themselves, you gotta know each one of them, and then know how you can actually integrate them into a team environment. And that can't happen if you don't understand the individuals. So it was very paramount for me to make sure that I get to understand all players, and also understand there's two things, as I'm saying, there's two things that you really want to focus on in coaching, is the fact that it either the head affects the physical side of it,
Yes.
or the poor technique affects your confidence. So it's either or. So for me, I've literally worked it down to, I need to find out which is which so I can know what to work with. Is it the mental thing, which affects your, how you play, or
Right.
is it your technique that affects how you think? And then for me, that made it easy to just identify areas in which I should work with the players. If it's a technical thing, a skill thing, it's a mental thing, is it a game plan thing? And all these players are different things that I actually had to look into and make sure that I give them the best tools for them to succeed.
Yeah, it seems to be working. So, first 6 years of your life in Piet Retief, and then the family moves to Phalaborwa, and you've got a sister, 3 brothers, and some adopted family members. So, a household with a lot of kids, and your parents will talk about them in a moment. But into that busy life, Mandla, when did cricket become a part?
I was always in sports. I played provincial in football. So I was always that guy that was going to be on a sporting field somewhere or another. But cricket came about when an uncle of mine who used to work in radio, run Radio Monganalolene in Limpopo. So he used to be a sports editor there. He came to visit our house, and there was cricket on SABC2. It was not SABC2 at the time, it was TV2.
Yes.
He was watching cricket, and then I asked him, "What's going on here?" And then he told me, "No, this is a game of cricket. What happens? I just see people in white, and there's this ball that they're chasing around, and one is hitting the ball, one is throwing the ball." And then he explained all the rules to me, and I sat there with curiosity, and I was like, "Wow, okay, this is quite interesting." And from there, I started investigating what it entails and what you need to do to play the game. And I think it was quite late. I think I was about 12, 13 there.
Yeah.
And then I was still in my last years of primary school, and then Baker's mini cricket was introduced into the school, and then I got into it. And then I played Baker's mini cricket even in high school, because obviously cricket was a new game in our area. And then when I was 16, the hardball got introduced, and then that's when I started playing hardball cricket. And then, one thing led to another. I played. Sorry?
No. Please carry on. I was about to ask you. You were a fast bowler, and of course, one of South Africa's greatest fast bowlers came from your town, Phalaborwa. Did you cross paths with Dale Steyn at all?
Yeah, Dale was obviously a junior when we started playing. Obviously, he had been playing for quite a while, even though he was younger, because their school was playing cricket at the time. And then I moved to the academy, Northern Province Academy, in '98. And 6 months later, I got brought to Pretoria, where I finished off my matric and Easter's. And then I played Northerns under 19 that same year. And then, after that, I went back to Northern's Academy. And then after that, I got my first professional contract with Griqual West in 2003. And then obviously the system changed.
Yes.
And then I was signed by Gastetna Eagles or Goodyear Eagles. I've spent a season and a half there, and then I came back as an amateur to Northerns. And then 2010, I had to call it. My knees were starting to speak Swahili at the time. So I was like, wow, I'm playing in pain. So I'm not going to force it. I went into coaching.
Yeah, you can't be a fast bowler if your knees are giving you trouble. I want to go back to Phalaborwa and into your home. Your parents, both pastors. Your mom did some work in the retail sector. What was life like at home in terms of, for example, your interests in something like cricket? Did your folks get right behind you? What kind of home did you grow up in?
Wow, I remember this was cricket was not a sport that was known in the area. My parents certainly didn't know it. My dad was a big boxing fan. My mom was into Red Cross, and she worked in retail as well. And cricket was just something that they've never heard of. And when I actually said to them that I wanted to go to the Northern Province Academy, my mom was against it. My dad actually said, "No, you do what you want. Let's see where this takes you." And for me, that was the support I needed, and that he gave me that. He couldn't give me more. He
Yes.
just allowed me to be me, and he allowed me to explore this game. And yeah, I mean, from there, I never looked back. But, my parents, well, I come from a home that is full of warmth, a home that is led by God, a home that is welcoming. My dad, from the time that I started staying with them, there was always people in that house, new people as well, because he worked with refugees for a lot of years, and then he was the first person to welcome people from Mozambique when the war broke out in Mozambique. They used to walk past our house, and then he used to call them in and give them water and give them shelter. And then eventually he got a hold of Red Cross, and then they sent tents, and then thousands went to 10,000s to 20,000s to a point where they got to the 100,000s, and then he had to get a big land from the chief, so that those people can reside there. And that place now is grown. There's doctors coming out of that place. There's teachers coming out of that place. So yeah, I come from that type of family where it's about bringing light to the people, showing people love and care, and that's basically part of my philosophy as a coach.
Yeah, and your book of choice you've shared with us, reflecting that background, Mandla, the Bible, something you turn to a great deal. I want to finally get to your song, because you picked a particular song which we're going to enjoy. It's a song I really like by Andrew Day called "Rise Up." It also formed part of your engagement with the team on the way to the World Cup final. Apparently, you played it before the semi-final against England, and I think it's fair to say that the song worked wonderfully well, because we made 319 and bowled them out for 194. But tell us why you chose this song.
I think that song just spoke to the situation we're in as a team, and it spoke to the belief that needed to be risen up from these players to understand that, this situation, it's only a situation for us. We can rise above it.
Yes.
It doesn't, whatever happened before, whatever we think is going to happen after, it's not of matter at the moment. What is of matter is we need to rise up as a team. We need to come together and unite and forget about everything else and just focus on the task at hand.
Well, it certainly worked. I have vivid memories of that game. Mandla Mashimbi, many, many thanks for, first of all, sharing with us your song, your book, and your dish, but also thanks for what you've done with South Africa's women cricketers, and I'm absolutely sure there's much more to come as the rise up continues. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Andrew Day, Rise Up. It's a wonderful song.
The silence is quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we would take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. and for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we will rise. We'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the air.
Yeah, it's wonderful to picture a dressing room of South African women cricketers about to play a semi-final against an England team that has won the World Cup so many times. And they go out. Laura Wolfhard scores 169 runs. Other batsmen weigh in. And then Marizanne Kapp comes out and suddenly England are 3 wickets down for 1. This has been 702 Drive. That was the song choice of my guest, Mandla Mashimbi. This week's show is always produced by Jonathan Fairburn and Rifue Litsua. Karabo Malapile, our technical producer. From all of us, good night.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, proud host of the Africa Impact Matters series podcast. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. Good evening. On your Money Show tonight, Eskom makes another profit but does warn its sales volumes are down partly because of solar installations. Why is a paperwork issue around SARS and fuel regulation leading to so many potential problems in our aviation industry? We find out more about the world of non-binary fashion tonight. And don't forget the Friday Biz Blitz. All of that to come, but first, the very latest Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Mikey Molapo. The